language and humor that is not suitable for viewers under the age of 18. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. The views and opinions expressed during the following video content are those of the individual and may not reflect those of others. Thank you.
Transformers, robots in disguise. Autobots and Decepticons collide. Cybertron's war comes to Earth, two forces collide. Optimus Prime leads the Autobots in their fight for freedom and what they believe is right. Megatron and the Decepticons, fueled by might, wage a battle that rages on day and night. More than meets the eye, they proclaim. Robots in disguise, using wisdom of the ages. The Autobots wage their battle to destroy evil forces of the Decepticons who seek power over the universe.
Many millions of years ago, on the planet Cybertron, life existed. But not life as we know it today. Intelligent robots that could think and feel inhabited the cities. They were called Autobots and Decepticons.
By the Matrix. What is it?
That, Bowser boy, is called the Ark.
I've heard only legends.
Oh, it's no legend, Jojo. Eons before Maximals and Predacons even existed, your ancestors, the Autobots, launched this Ark containing their finest heroes. It was attacked by Decepticons and crashed here on Earth.
This area appears geologically unstable.
Hello, it's a volcano, Bone Brain. When it explodes in 1984, our ancestors inside the ship will awaken and start the Great War.
Greetings, Autobots, Decepticons, Maximals, Predacons, and Minicons. It is I, Michaelmas Prime, along with Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective, Stone Cold Loki, Pop Culture Mechanic, Baron Norman Tag, and Cash Money 007, as tonight we celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Transformers. Welcome, one and all, to this very special broadcast. Tonight we will talk about what got us into Transformers and why Transformers means so much to many of us 40 years later.
All will crumble before rumble.
Yeah, yes. No, come on, Prime. Can't we just kick that little snot-nosed Rumble's ass?
Every
Easy
time
on
I
it.
look into a monitor, my circuits sizzle.
When are we going to start buzzing some Deceptichops? Yes, those memories are burned into a certain generation's mind. But tonight, I'm going to ask you, Stone Loki, what got you into Transformers?
Megatron, is that you? Here's a hint. Dude, what wasn't better than Transformers when you were growing up? Transformers were awesome. Transformers were the thing, especially if you grew up in the '80s, man. That's the toys everybody wanted were the Transformers. And the show was great. You'd catch the show all the time on TV, Saturday morning cartoons, whatever it was, and you had a great time. I know I grew up loving Optimus Prime and the battles and all the Dinobots, especially the Dinobots. When I was a kid, I thought the Dinobots were great. Me, Grimlock, kick butt.
We're gonna have a
And
Grimlock
later-
for now.
And later, when I was older, I liked the Decepticons more than I liked the Autobots. But it's still great. It's still absolutely
Yeah,
great, man.
yeah, it is.
No matter what iteration you're watching, it's all good, man. It's Transformers.
Exactly. And how about you, Pop Culture?
Well, back then, I mean, I was in the prime age of discovering Transformers. You know, you're 11, and you come home from school, and all of a sudden there's this show on. Oh, what's this all about? Giant robots fighting each other? Oh, I'm in. You know, and it was just amazing. You're watching the show, and you get Megatron telling Starscream to use his imagination, and it's like, what? Robots have imagination? And so that's what sort of set it aside, set it in the next level up for me. Was like that was a game changer, because robots were just like automatons. They just obey their master. But these were different. They had personalities, and just the sound of them transforming and all that. It had everything an 11-year-old kid could want.
Pop, 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 pop.
And how about you, Tommy?
So, do you want the short explanation or do you want the long explanation?
Give us a long explanation.
Yeah, we got 3 hours. Come on, burn up the clock, man. Burn
Oh,
up
you
that
want me to
clock.
burn up? You shouldn't be asking me to talk about Transformers and burn up the clock, bro. You should know better than that. Okay, so let's go with the long explanation.
Tonight's a very special night, so go ahead, Tommy.
Hey, the history of the Transformers is actually a very long history, and it doesn't begin or end what a lot of people think with Hasbro or just Takara. It starts way before them, and there was a lot of other companies that actually got into making these different type of robots that converted forms. It didn't start with Takara. Takara just made it more popular than the rest of them. If you look at the actual toy line that actually kicked off the robot craze, it actually wasn't the Transformers, it was the GoBots. Both companies, Tonka and Hasbro, had gone to the Tokyo Toy Fair in '92. And both of them seen these converting toys that were causing such an uproar already in Japan. Both of them then went to make deals with certain companies. Now, obviously, Tonka did a deal with Bandai, and they brought what was essentially their machine robo over to the States. They rebranded, they gave them names, and they turned them into GoBots. They didn't change a lot in the way of packaging. Where Hasbro, when they partnered up with Takara and they brought it over, all the packaging had to be completely changed, because you're talking about separate lines that had nothing to do with one another in the Diaclone and the Micro Change. And yes, I am getting how I got into it. This is the long explanation. So those two lines, Hasbro's like, so how can we take these two completely separate and disparate lines and bring them together into one? In comes Hasbro, Jim Shooter, eventually Bob Budiansky, who he wasn't even the first pick to write all the bios and all the characters' names. There was a few other guys they went through, and one of them was possibly credited with coming up with either Optimus Prime and Megatron or just Optimus Prime. But I believe Bob said that he came up with Megatron, and he said it was like a megaton, nay, Megatron. It was really interesting the way this guy came up with different names, and he came up with his really fancy bios, once again, all starting in the freaking hallowed halls of early Marvel before it went to trash. These guys did an amazing job bringing these two separate lines. It didn't really have much of a backstory. I mean, the Diaclone had the Waradar invaders, who were mostly the Insecticons, which, yes, those toys were out before the 84 line launched. And so were the Dinobots, Loki. I don't know if you knew that one. They were
Yep.
part of the Diaclone line as well. The coloring was slightly different. There was more blue instead of red, but they were essentially the same damn toys. They took these two lines, created amazing backstories. Jim Shooter's original treatment of the backstory for the Transformers, the war, and everything like that had sat for over 20 plus years before they started tampering with the original canon. And they started bringing other shows in and everything. But that stood the test of time for so long. And it's still looked at as the primo de facto piece of canon for the Transformers when you're looking at the storyline. Because even though the other ones may take divergences from that original storyline, they still pretty much come back around to what the original canon said about the war for the robots. I mean, granted, they add gods and everything else in there. So in comes a young guinea pig looking in the flea markets. Looking in the flea markets. Go ahead.
Oh, you said in comes in there a guinea pig. It's like you?
Yeah, that would be me.
You're the guinea pig?
Who knew? I didn't know. I had no clue. I just found out today. It was an amazing story, but that's not what we're talking about right now. So we go out to these indoor flea markets, and one of the ones my father always used to take me to was up in New Brunswick, the U.S. Route 1 indoor flea market. It's the same one that Kevin Smith had in Mallrats. I used to go to that one all the time. Didn't look anything like what he showed in the movie, by the way. Not even close. So what you were getting back then in the early 80s is you were getting companies coming over from overseas, bringing basically imports and selling them in the United States directly, which you don't really see much of that anymore. That kind of stopped, and everything usually for the most part has got to come through American toy companies. So
I found out about Messinger. Anybody who knows Messinger Z, the exact what Tommy's talking about right now, I had one of those metal Messingers back in the day. That's how I got it, was at a flea market.
And what toy company started bringing them over? It was they were doing the Shogun stuff, and they were bringing them over through like Mego and other companies like that. So originally, yeah, these guys were selling direct out of the flea market. So I was introduced to Microman and, of course, the Mego version, which was Micronauts. I was introduced to them. So it didn't take much of a jump to see these micro-change toys, because it's all part of Microman. That's where I first got introduced. Before they were even branded as Transformers, I had Cassette Man, which became Soundwave. I had Jaguar. I had Condor. I had Microns, which were Rumble and Frenzy, all before they were branded Transformers. I seen a lot of the other ones too that unfortunately didn't make it into the Transformer line at the time, and I didn't have a chance to get them, like the 44 Magnum. But then, as you go on, there was a lot of other companies that were making Transformer toys that weren't part of Hasbro. Takara, like you got Toy Box that was doing Shockwave. Omega Supreme. Toy Co. that was doing Shockwave. Then, of course, the licensing they got from Macross before Bandai bought it out. So when you had the Robotech Macross, it was under a different company, and then they got sold out to Bandai, and they took it over. But there was already a marketing deal in place with Hasbro to bring it to the States, and it was only available in the States. They couldn't sell Jetfire in Japan. So you got Jetfire, and that's why he appears different on the cartoons as well. So
it's a different name too.
Yeah, Skyfire.
And there's a whole licensing issue with the character of Jetfire, Skyfire, as to why you don't even see him that many times in the first and second season.
And there's one other thing that I find really interesting about these lines when they brought them all together. So when it first starts out, Takara was a company that was making like little tin can wind-up robot toys. They weren't doing nothing fancy. Most of their stuff that they were doing were dolls. They were all girl-oriented. They wanted to get into the action figure market, like you've seen a lot of other companies later on, like Playmates. Playmates' first introduction to action figures were the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So what they wanted to get into action figures, so they reached out to Hasbro, and they did a deal with Hasbro to import G.I. Joes, the big 12-inch doll G.I. Joes. Action figures, Mom! So they brought them in. They didn't pan out very well with the kids in Japan, considering that we're coming off the back of World War II. There were still some hard feelings about that. So they did okay, but they didn't sell great. They didn't do gangbusters like they were hoping. So they started tampering with the way the figures looked, and they started doing like weird superheroes out of them and everything like that. And that actually worked for a little while, and then that lost steam relatively quickly. So then they came up with an idea. Hey, let's use translucent plastic and make it look like they got gears and engines inside the figure. And that's when they came up with the Henshin Cyborg figures, which eventually get shrunk down to Microman that lead into the Transformers. And another interesting note, when they shipped that back over to the States to Mego to be branded as the Micronauts, it was shortly after, just a few years later, that Hasbro decided, hey, let's redo G.I. Joe, shrink it down to 3 3/4 like those Micronauts and the Microman figures, and do a rebranded G.I. Joe line. So it almost feels like it's kind of coming full circle. Hasbro sends it out to Takara. Takara sends ideas back that Hasbro looks at. They shrink down G.I. Joe. Then they partner with Takara again, and this time, and they bring Transformers together into a fully unified line. One other interesting side note. So while Hasbro originally branded Transformers, Takara did not initially do a unifying brand. They were still doing Diaclone and Microchange. So they seen how well it was going, and it was shortly after that, just after 84, it was like the beginning of 85, that they fully branded all their lines together as Transformers as well. And then, of course, you got a nice big unified toy line between two parts of the world. Really interesting stuff right there, man. I could talk about this stuff all day, man. I love the Transformers stuff. I can't agree with Loki. I don't like all the Transformers stuff. There's a lot of the newer stuff I literally can't stand. And God help me, I tried watching that Rise of the Beast, and I didn't even make it halfway through, and I had to shut it off. I was like, this is far removed from what it was supposed to be. Well, I heard other people talking about Loki, and I tried to be a little, unbiased, first time viewing through these things. And I got halfway through and I couldn't take it anymore. And I shut it off. I said, no, I can't do it. I can't. And I had to walk away.
I was like that with that new series that has all the pronouns in it. I couldn't watch it.
Isn't that Nickelodeon one or whatever? Yeah.
I think so. Really quick to jump on what Tommy was talking about before he's done.
Go ahead.
Takara, the stuff they were doing in Japan, Takara was hand making that. That means they were molding each piece. They were putting it together by hand. They were making those toys by hand. It wasn't until production came to the US that they started mass producing them. We get the cheaper, like second gen stuff that came out after the movie. But that first generation, Takara Tomy was making everything by hand. They were molding the plastic. They were putting it all together by hand. They were painting it. This wasn't on like a giant assembly line. They had actual people working with it. And you could tell the difference between that first generation of Transformers and what we got when the movie came out and they started, because it was all just like fast produced Hasbro junk plastic compared to what we got in those originals.
Loki, did you ever see some of the early prototypes that they did? What they were used, they were making them out of wood. Some of the, because I've got a book with pictures of the early prototypes, and they were literally making these things out of wood. I mean, you would think that they would sculpt them out of some kind of like clay or something like that. No, they were carving these things with wood, figuring out how in the engineering, like you're saying, the engineering that these guys came up with those early toys, it was unheard of what they were doing, because some of these other companies that were doing all these different toy lines, like you had Buddy L, you had MC Toys, like all these other companies came out right around the same time, around 84 and 85, doing their own versions of these toys, and their engineering was nowhere near what Transformers were doing with the larger figures. Now the smaller figures, like the stuff that was micro-changed to early, like the penny racer cars, like Cliff Jumper and Bumblebee, those were pretty simple. One other side note, and I don't know if you guys ever noticed with some of the original ones that came out, so you had Gears, you had Huffer, you had Brawn. All three of those guys, believe it or not, they actually still have a stamping from the Microchange line on them. On the side of Huffer, on the front top hood of Gears, and I forget where it is on Brawn. I think that's on the top as well. There's a little M. There's a black piece of plastic on them, or there's just like a raised M on all those figures for the Microchange line. They never took them off when they actually went into production. In the early production, a lot of that stuff that Hasbro was using, and this is why you wound up getting a red Bumblebee and the yellow Bumblebee, which is the more common in, the canon version. And same thing with Cliffjumper, a yellow and a red, is because they were just getting the leftover stock from Takara that they'd already produced for the microchange line. So yeah, you were getting those weird colors. I heard that there was like a blue Huffer that might have slipped into the mix as well, and that's how you wind up getting the one character to winds up becoming Bumper. So it was another type of Mazda car that was never released into the mini car lineup for whatever reason. But a few of them slipped in either Cliffjumper or Bumblebee packaging. And yeah, very sought after piece if you could find it.
Very nice, very nice. Now, before I get to you, Baron and Cash, I do want to acknowledge our chat. And I also want to acknowledge Jason Fox of 540 Studio, who says, let's go. And also, Baron, you also sent a member chat. So remember, I am not just a member, folks. I am also a co-host. Join for the fun. Go Bots forever. But, gentlemen,
That was Mouse. Mouse. That was a quote from Mouse Be Kitty.
Yeah,
He's contrary. He's contrary. I don't know what's wrong with that cat.
But gentlemen, for those member chats, I'm gonna go ahead and play this.
We are indestructible! Power to the Decepticons forever!
And let's go ahead and get to everybody else who's been patiently waiting, fellow Cybertronians. We have Leia Rose. We also have Phil McCracken. Says Baron needs to give Miss Tag her bear claws. Do it now, Baron. Bear claw stealer. We also
I have never stolen a bear claw in my life. Bismarck's you can accuse me of, but never a bear claw.
You stop that, Shum. You stop that right now. No more of that, Shum. We don't want to hear that. We don't need no horse clip. We don't need no stinking horse clip. You stop that, Shum.
And Chum also says 83 to 85 was peak after school shows, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Robotech, GoBot, He-Man.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah.
No. Wolverine says, hey, y'all. He also adds, yep, I had a red Bumblebee. Of course, Leia Rose says hello to me. Hello to Baron. Hello to Jace. Hello to Phil. And hello to Loki.
Hello, Leia Rose.
All right, Baron.
The president and sole member of the Phil McCracken fan club.
Baron Ormantag, who has a Psykill avatar.
Well, yeah, he was the greatest transformer of them all, right? Right, I got it down, right? This is.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Tommy. Nightbot is being an ass again. I'm gonna have to slap him.
Oh no, Tommy, are you harassing poor Tom?
I put 5 points in the chat like I always do. I've always had a problem with those Nightbots on everybody's channel, and usually I harass them.
Okay. Stupid Nightbot.
Well, if you come over to the Pacific 404 side, I'll make sure Nightbot doesn't give you a hard time. But anyways, Baron, Transformers, what got you into it?
It's just one of those things where at that time, you had your syndicated market. We're lucky in our area because we actually had more than 3 stations in the Twin Cities that we could go off of, and one of which was a syndicated channel, and they happened to pull in the all the shows. That's where you caught the Star Blazers. That's where you caught G.I. Joe. I think that's also where you had the GoBots. And I'm going to be nice here. Actually, I'm going to do something. I'm done trolling. I'm done being Phil here, and I'll just go to the best of them all, Starscream. But this show comes on. I tried watching the GoBots. Actually, I didn't like the GoBots. I don't know why. But then there was the Transformers. Like, well, let's give those guys a try. They look actually a lot neater. And yeah, the show was, it basically drove me in, of course, is, the fact that it was a pretty good show for what it was. I mean, it's a very good show for what it is. And kept on watching. Of course, I didn't see the movie in the theater, but I did see it on the cable when it came around. And just amazed that they would actually do what they did with that film. But I think it's just the fact that it was a fun show to watch. It was entertaining. You had great voices in there. Obviously, you could start pointing out, oh, that's Casey Kasem. Oh, that's Scatman Carruthers. I mean, when you start having such a great voice cast like that, of course, Frank Welker and Peter Cullen as well. But of course, not necessarily as familiar with those voices at that time as it was with the others. Even Roger C. Carmel for the short time before his passing. And it just dragged in. I mean, I'd watch that and I'd watch G.I. Joe and I'd look at G.I. Joe going, this show's ridiculous. I mean, it's like they're all this shooting around. Nobody is killed. They jump out of the planes. It's absolutely ridiculous. Not that I'm saying that Transformers was more realistic, but you actually felt like there was more at stake with it. And that really came home again, of course, when the movie came about. So yeah, it was just entertaining. And I was at that time a teenager coming home from high school. So I'm watching this stuff as a high schooler. Shows you what type of nerd I was, eh? So yeah, it was just good entertainment, good, well written, plenty of episodes, so it wasn't repetitive, and you could get lost in it for a half hour with that little block of what they had for animated shows.
Hey, Baron, I
Yeah.
will say this though, you got to give GI Joe credit in this one aspect. If it wasn't for GI Joe and the 3-point marketing strategy that Hasbro used to actually relaunch GI Joe, so it was comics, it was the cartoon, and then there was advertising.
Right.
What Transformers had succeeded as well as it did because they employed that same marketing strategy when it came time to releasing the Transformers.
Oh yeah. Way. I mean, I'm not wanting to sell G.I. Joe short. I'm just talking about myself personally, and obviously a very big impact, and it helped out. I mean, shows like He-Man, shows like G.I. Joe helped pave the way for shows like this. Even to a degree, even GoBots, even though I consider Transformers, would you say, superior to it all. And yeah, they all work together. Of course, it didn't hurt that Hasbro had both Transformers and in G.I. Joe and Transformers together. So if it worked for the one, it must work with the other. And it was great entertainment. I still watch G.I. Joe, don't get me wrong. But over the two, Transformers I preferred more.
You were just hoping that your application was accepted to Cobra, and it wasn't, Baron. I get it.
No. Hey, they got a good health plan there, and they got, really, you take a look at it, you got a better deal working for Cobra than G.I. Joe. Of course I joined G.I. Joe. Oh, Cobra!
Another thing, Baron, you were talking about GoBots and Transformers was far superior. And like I was saying earlier, GoBots did get better with their engineering, but their problem is they didn't really take the cues that Hasbro did when they relaunched G.I. Joe. And this is why I said G.I. Joe gets a lot of respect for the marketing strategy because GoBots beat Transformers to the market by a full year. Like I said, the packaging was super simple and everything like that, but they did not launch the cartoon until after Hasbro had hit Marvel with Sunbow up, and they did their cartoon first. And GoBots might have had more staying power if they would have really paid attention to the G.I. Joe strategy of marketing the toys and put a freaking cartoon out as soon as possible. They just didn't. They weren't thinking about it.
Well, when I was talking about Superior, I wasn't talking about the toy. I was talking about the TV show.
Oh, no, definitely. The GoBots was more geared towards a little bit more of a younger audience. It was more simple, and it didn't seem like it had the stakes, like you're saying, the Transformers cartoon did. Even though I still, to this day, do not understand if they're in conjunction with Marvel working with them, how Sunbow screws up the cartoon, especially the coloring of the figures as much and as often as they did.
Back and forth, you might say. It's like, we just did this scene. We can't redo it. Okay, well, then just do the others that we know how they work in there. I mean, just because it was the 80s doesn't mean you still didn't have pinheads involved in the doing the marketing and designing and telling them how to do the show. So,
Oh, look,
but
yeah,
yeah,
they
I
have
mean,
6 star screams on screen at the same time. They look exactly the same and all transform to the point where they're like, there's just a bunch of red seekers on Cybertron. Don't pay any attention to that.
Well, not only
Yeah.
that, you watch other 80s animated TV shows, even going into the 90s, and you saw animation errors and
mhm.
the
Oh,
wrong voice
Well-
coming out of the wrong character. And
Well, you got to give credit. I mean, look at how many episodes they put out. This is for a weekly series. The animation for television was still very good, very good quality. Really, it was. And so it's to be expected to have the errors, and that's kind of the nice thing about when you have the hand drawn stuff. You can still tell it's lovingly done, even though there's little errors here and there, and you can still appreciate it. You can give them a little chuckle, but you don't give them too much of a hard time for it, because honestly, how many people sitting at a desk drawing one picture after another with just little differences to make a move?
Oh,
No
CGI.
CGI.
I'm not running them down at all, Baron. It just seemed like an extensive amount of errors on their part, especially when it came to like my biggest gripe is with some of the people when they talk about Rumble and Frenzy. Because if you look at the original toys, the coloring is swapped. And in the first few episodes that they ever showed Frenzy, because he wasn't appearing at first, they were just using Rumble. His very first appearance, he was blue. He wasn't red and black, which, he should have been blue and Rumble should have been red. But I will say this in their defense, I do know for a fact that these guys, they were working them at a breakneck pace to put out all these different episodes because they were weekly. It was like 5 days a week they had new episodes coming out. So these guys are working at a breakneck pace to try to get all these animation cells done in a hurry. And I'm sure doing that is going to lead to a lot of problems, like Loki say, especially if you get characters that all look the same. Well, we're going to miscolor it. But I will say in their defense, sometimes their miscoloring did lead to new character development, such as the Rainmakers when they did on Cybertron, because from the original reports, they weren't supposed to be those colors. They just didn't know what to do. So they just threw different colors. And now you got really almost like additional seekers that are, they're nostalgic now, the way that they look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they did the same thing with when they first brought Transformers to DVD. Those first remastered, they were bad. I don't know if anybody still has those. I've got my big individually seasoned silver box set still.
Yes, the Rhino releases where they
Yes.
added the extra special effects that just ruined it for me.
Yeah, absolutely. They screwed it up then. They couldn't do it right then. So I mean, it's all who is in charge and who is responsible, and yeah, things will fall through the cracks, but we know we're not dumb. When we hear, Starscream firing his gun and it's like boom, 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 and we're like, that's not the way. It was like boo, 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 boo. His null ray made a very distinct sound. We know it's wrong. And some people will be like, I can't believe you're sitting there talking about a cartoon that doesn't sound like it used to back when you were a kid. Those are important things to us. Guess what? We're nostalgic. We like to watch these. We like to put them on and have them playing in the background. And if it's something doesn't sound right, we notice. If it doesn't look right, we notice. That there wasn't anything more telling than going into the theaters for the 40th anniversary and watching the first episode with a live voice cast, with them doing it. Frank Welker was there. A lot of the original cast was there, except for the people that are gone. But even the guy who did Starscream, who isn't the original guy who did Starscream, sounded so good that you didn't notice. I wish they'd done all 4 episodes, because you got to see 4 episodes of the Transformers. Only the first one they did with a live table reading while the episode was going on.
Loki, what about the guy who did Jazz? I thought he did an extraordinarily good job too.
He did a good job. Nothing was so off-putting that you were like, okay, this just ruins it. It was good, and you wanted more. You wanted more. You wanted the other episodes to be there, and they aren't. I wish they'd have just paid them. Here's a whole bunch of money. We're going to remake the first 4 episodes as far as, the voice actors go, and you can just do it. And we're going to dump it in the theater. Thank you. You don't even have to do 4 because the last episode's not part of the original premiere. Just do 3. That's all you had to do was do 3, release that in theater, and boom, you got everybody coming to watch it anyway.
And that was the thing about those original 3. There's still some people I talk to every once in a while that don't realize that those first 3 episodes were almost supposed to be a mini movie. They weren't intended to be broken up, but they had to do something to actually put it on TV because they knew that's where they were going to sell the most toys by putting on a regular show. And it did so well that it became syndicated, and then they just continued. And it was the same thing with the comics. The comics were only 4 issues, and it was supposed to end. And then you get that amazing cover with Shockwave. The Transformers are all dead on issue number 5.
Yeah. And before we get to you, Cash, Wolverine says, you guys know the funny story that made Casey Kasem walk away from Transformers? I know it, but I want to see if our fellow panelists know it.
Oh, I know.
Do you guys know the reason why Casey Kasem walked away from voicing any of his characters in Transformers?
No.
I do. I hold off.
All right. Tommy, I'm sure you know. Loki,
Actually,
I'm sure you
that's
know.
one of the ones I don't know.
Oh, really?
Really? Well, Bear, do you want to tell them or should I?
Well, I can tell it just to prove that I'm not bullshitting. I could have just been saying, I know, and not say it and just you see and go, see, huh? But no, they had an episode where they were dealing with Arab terrorists. And of course, being that Casey Kasem, I believe Lebanese himself. And of course, at that time, the turmoil, which we have going on right now still in the Middle East that was going on, he took great offense to it. So he basically told him up yours and did not come back because of his personally insulting, even though every other ethnic group out there was target. But the moment they hit home to you, you little crybaby, you had to run with your tail between your legs, whining and crying, pissing and moaning. So typical.
Yep.
Right?
And before we get to you, Cash, what brought you to Transformers? That is correct. I do want to say hello to Cabot Kisser. Welcome. And of course, DJ Ronnie G.
Nerd.
So, Cash, what got you into Transformers?
Well, I haven't gone into all the details like you guys have, so I'm happy to listen to this. But Transformers is just, I grew up with it. So, back in the day in the 80s, little Tyke, people would fight over Transformers. You would watch it, and it was enjoyable. You had cool storylines. Megatron was great. Optimus Prime. I think Optimus is still one of my favorites, even though I have the picture of Megatron. It's a toss-up for me. But having some of the toys, even you guys remember when the Transformer toys, even getting older, at McDonald's, you had one that turned into a shake, then to a Transformer. They had all kinds of cool stuff going on. And these toys were well made. And I agree with you that metal, there's something special about the metal toys that it doesn't matter if you even talk about when Voltron had metal toys or Transformers, they just are so well made. And you just look at that and you're like, man, look at all the detail and work that was gone into that. But Transformers, just like G.I. Joe, then like some of these other cartoons, they're just amazing. And you can go back today and still watch them and be in awe. I still have some of the VHS tapes as well. When you guys had the certain episodes.
Yeah, the ones that came from Family Home Entertainment.
Nope.
Yeah, I got those too.
Yeah, those things are cool, man. So, Transformers is just great. I mean, you can say what you want about the movies and stuff, especially the first 3, but nothing will ever touch for me Generation 1. I never really got into Beast Wars. Maybe I'll give it another chance sometime, but
I think you should. I've been trying to nudge you a little bit to watch Beast Wars, but I think you should because, yes, they do bring up Generation 1 for good reason, but they also tell their own story, and a lot of the stories are good. I think one of the characters you're really going to gravitate to is Dinobot.
Yep.
And it doesn't cost you anything to watch it either. They're all available for free on Tubi.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's an original.
Oh,
So that's
nice.
from
So
the
let me
original.
blow that up.
One other thing I wanted to also add is that just like the character, if I remember, the one in the wheelchair, Chip. We go back to he was another great character. The thing is, Transformers, the people who wrote the show knew that we're not going to make anybody feel bad. Well, except the movie, I know, made people cry. I know, because of what happened to Optimus Prime. But
yeah, it did.
Mike cried the other day when we did it. It's like doing that rewatch, and it's like,
I'm sure it brought in some tears. Yes.
Oh, of course, it's a hero. You lost a
right.
hero.
It is a hero, right? But yeah, it's just there was just a lot of cool stuff and the storylines. And then one thing also, just like a lot of those cartoons, we had good messages for kids. Can we please bring that back? Even Transformers had these messages to help children. It was great. I would love to see more of that in cartoons again for kids.
Remember, kids, look both ways before crossing the street, or Ironhide will run you over. He's got bad eyes.
That was one of the things that made the character Optimus Prime so special, is the tone and the way he talked when he was doing that character. And I'm sure most of us probably know the story about his brother, Larry, who was over in Vietnam. He told Peter Cullen, don't be a Hollywood hero. Be a real hero that knows how to show compassion. And he brought it every single time that he voiced Optimus Prime.
He did. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and blow this up real quick, and then I'm going to play a clip.
Cool.
Nice.
Well, that's an original cell shaded, I think it's an MP9. I can't remember what number it is. But the cell shading on the gun, on the bod, on the matrix, all of it is just
that's awesome, man.
The stuff like that you just gotta love, and you see it and you're like, I've gotta do it. I've got to. I don't have a choice.
Yeah, exactly. And in this clip, you can hear some of what Tommy was talking about.
I remember the time on Cybertron. Save the war stories, Hotshot. Just remember, there's a thin line between being a hero and being a memory.
Exactly.
Yeah. The full one is, there's a thin line between being a hero and being a memory. But anything else you want to say about Transformers, Cash?
Can we have more cartoons like this again, please? Like,
No.
even what they've done to Transformers now, it's so embarrassing.
It is embarrassing, and it really is a shame, because some of the stuff that Hasbro is doing as far as the toy lines really do harken back to the days when everybody enjoyed it. And you can't tell me that they're not hitting marks right there. And they got to know that this is a seller for them, because every time they release those Studio Series 86 ones, they sell the hell out, most of them. You know what? I've seen that Studio Series 86 Prime. Now, granted, that price is kind of high on that thing, but you're talking about something that's almost in comparison to what Loki was showing off. That is a beautiful looking Prime figure.
It is.
It's like almost $80, I think.
Yeah, it's almost $90. It's got the engineering of MP44 without the MP44 price. And if anyone's wondering what MP stands for, it's Masterpiece, because what Loki was showing was Masterpiece Optimus Prime, the second iteration of Optimus Prime. And I tell you, Tommy, you're exactly right. When you go into a store, you're looking for a specific Studio Series figure, you can't find it.
A case in point was the Grimlock that they did for Studio Series 86. Now, when I picked mine up and I did my review for it, I love that figure. Such a beautiful figure. I wound up going and getting a second one because, the collector's rule is usually you get one and then keep another one in package. And I really didn't have plans on selling it, but things got tough and I sold it. And yeah, I wound up, Baron, I know you remember because you were sharing it out there. I got way over what I paid for that thing because it's in high demand because nobody could find that damn thing. Even today, that thing is still going for $250, even $300, and you're only talking about 2 or 3 years after its release. It's going up by that much, and the demand is still there for it, especially with all the rest of the Dinobots because they finally got Swoop, which was the last Dinobot, and every last one of them. I haven't gotten Swoop yet, but all the other ones, man, absolutely fantastic, incredible figures.
Yeah, because when you were joining us for Pop Talk, you asked if you could show it, and I said, go ahead. And, we started pushing that eBay sale that you were doing. And it's like, if you want it for your collection, here it is.
There we go.
As far as what drew me into Transformers, at the time, I was still into He-Man. I was watching GoBots. And then all of a sudden, one day I turned on my TV onto XETV in San Diego, Channel 6, and I see this new cartoon called Transformers. And I'm all, okay, this is a pretty cool show. And that same day, my next door neighbor, he actually had Thundercracker. So it's like, oh, cool. And, just watching the show, seeing the toys, and, the science fiction element was what grabbed me to Transformers. It later on would navigate me towards Star Trek because of the science fiction aspect of the stories. And it was just a fun adventure. And I couldn't wait to go on that adventure with them, and eventually, when I got the toys, replay some of those adventures after the show ended, and it just inspired me. And of course, the voice of Optimus Prime, Peter Cullen, Megatron, Chris Latta as Starscream. You had Dawes Butler as Ratchet.
Oh yeah, they're great talent.
Yeah. It's just an amazing show. It's an amazing experience, going to a movie theater and seeing Transformers the movie, even, with Optimus dying, still to this day, I can watch that movie and remember exactly where I was sitting in the movie theater.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I remember my dad leaning over literally they're like yanking kids out of the theater that are bawling, that are crying. Optimus Prime. And my dad's like, do you want to go? And I said, no, I want to see what happens. He's like, okay. He just, is that it? No, I want to see what happens. And getting to see Megatron become Galvatron and all that, that's prime.
It really is a shame that the toy execs didn't understand the emotional toll that was going to take on kids when they wanted to just get rid of that toy line. That was just a bad move on their part.
Yep.
Imagine if they had the internet back then.
Oh, dude.
Oh, my word. And they thought we're bad today.
Yeah. But, the fact that 40 years later, we're lucky enough to still have Peter Cullen as Optimus with us, and of course Frank Welker as Megatron with us. That's something special, because even yesterday Hasbro released a video where they interviewed those two gentlemen, and just listening to those two gentlemen talking about their career experiences, not just on Transformers but other shows, those guys are special. They're definitely a part of a chapter of our lives, of course. And real quick, I just want to go to our first quote-unquote commercial break.
Uh-oh.
So here we go. Transformers, 40 Years of Robots in Disguise will return after these messages.
They appear to be mighty robots, but you change them into mighty vehicles. GoBots and Super GoBots, each sold separately.
GoBots, 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 GoBots.
GoBots and Super GoBots. Destroyer, Sidekill, and Leader 1. Each sold separately from Tonka.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons. The Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers, robots in disguise.
Attack the Autobot commander! Call in the Decepticon leader!
Transformers, more than meets the eye.
Transformers, sold separately from Hasbro.
We now return to Transformers 40 Years of Robots in Disguise.
A lot of people don't realize that kid in that commercial, that was Mike. Remember, he lived out in California at that time.
I wish, Baird.
Mike's big Hollywood career that he had.
yeah. In my dreams. Phil McCracken says, GoBots, poor kids, Transformers.
Is that a Hawk Fu? Hawk Fu.
How could you, Phil?
Oh yeah, Hawk too.
You're slighting Transformers because Hasbro owns all that now.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, he don't care.
That was the reason why I put that particular commercial in there, was because of the fact that Hasbro did buy the rights to GoBots. They can't use the original molds because they belong to Bandai, but they have all the names.
That when they bought that, they didn't buy just GoBots. They bought Tonka completely as an entity.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we got that the Tonkanator set.
Yeah.
Ooh, Tonkanator. I like that.
Well, they made some piss poor choices. I don't know if anybody remembers this. Does anybody remember Rock Lords? Rock Lords meet the GoBots. The robots that turn into rocks.
Well, what happened? What happened just before that, though? What happened right before that, Loki? Do you remember what the big craze was just before they came out?
The Rock Farm or Rock Family or Pet Rocks, whatever it was. God. We're gonna make a robot and we're gonna call him Nugget. And guess what color he's gonna be? He's gonna look like a little gold rock. And he's gonna transform into a robot. Oh, bad decisions. There is a thing going overboard with all this. And they did go overboard. And that's why it just kind of went away for a while. Because they went absolutely positively overboard with all of it.
Well, I mean, they did step up for a short amount of time, especially when they came out with the Super GoBots, because I still have a few of them, like the Leader 1 and the Sidekill and the Super GoBot form. And man, those things are spectacular. They are great. And they are literally, Leader 1 is just ever so slightly smaller than Starscream. Not by much either. When you transform them both into jet forms, Starscream's a little longer, but they're right around that same size. And man, the Super GoBots had a lot more metal, believe it or not, in them than the Transformers did. It's crazy how much diecast those ones had on them.
Yep. And that's the thing, we didn't care as kids. GoBots, Transformers, we would mash them all up together and create our own stories.
Oh, just like Cash. Well, just like Cash had mentioned, the McChangeables, or they had a couple different names for them. They just had them called as Changeables. They had them called as McChangeables. They had them McBots. They had a bunch of different names for the ones from McDonald's. But those were actually fairly well made too. I got a ton of those too. You would incorporate them. Then one that I brought up myself on a few of my videos was a Kellogg's Starbot. So you could get the stuff out of cereal boxes. And then then you had MC Toy, and you had all these other ones that you could kind of add them into your Transformers lineup if you so wanted to. It's like worker bots or whatever. And there was tons of other company like Zybots. Like it was endless. Like once this craze started with GoBots, and then Transformers just came in and pretty much started blowing them out of the water. Every other company was jumping on board for this for a good number of years. And there was just so many amazing looking toys. Like even some of the cheaper, like you would almost say dollar store looking toys were kind of interesting. Like before Transformers ever did Mind Wipe in the Headmasters, there was this Zybots figure who was a bat that turned into a robot. So a lot of this stuff they kind of seen what these other companies were doing, these smaller companies, and if they could incorporate it, like Takatutu Toys that did the deluxe Insecticons, and then they did the deluxe Autobots, they incorporated that and they licensed them on and brought them into Transformers as well. It's just amazing stuff that they're doing. But GoBots, man, with Tonka, like they had everything right there in front of them, and they blew it. I'm not saying that they would have beaten Hasbro and Transformers. There's no way in hell, but they could have extended their shelf life by a good number of years if they would have played it smarter.
Yep.
That's very true. Very, very true indeed. And, of course, we mentioned Frank Welker and, Chris Latta earlier, and of course, Peter Cullen. But what is it about the different character voices, whether it be Ratchet, Bumblebee, Grimlock, any of the characters of Transformers, that when you hear that voice, you know exactly who it is? Even if they're voicing a different character, they might use a similar voice tone when they're voicing other characters, or you even hear in video games now, and you go, I know exactly who that is. What makes these actors so memorable?
It's gotta be what they do. I mean, you hear Starscream and then you hear Cobra Commander, and you know, if you were a G.I. Joe and Transformer fan, you knew Cobra Commander and Starscream are the same guy. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same voice. They sound exactly
crazy,
the same.
Man. When you look into that, you're like, what? That happened?
So when you see them in the comic together for the first time, and you've got Cobra Commander and Starscream in the same room together, you're like, this makes perfect sense. It's ingenious. Megatron. I think the three biggest ones in the first two seasons of Transformers has got to be Megatron, Prime, and Starscream. They're just, some people might have said some cooler stuff or done some cooler things, but as far as voices go, those are three voices you carry with you for the rest of your life if you're done watching the first two seasons of Transformers.
Well, I would also say Soundwave, because of that robotic voice. That was just amazing what they did. One character that always kind of irritated me a little bit with the cartoon, they really dumbed that character down especially from his original bio. And what they did in Marvel Comics was Shockwave, because Shockwave was supposed to be a lot more dangerous. They made him almost like a second-class flunky in the Sunbow cartoons. It was kind of horrible. And then he dies off screen when Unicron slams his hand down into Cybertron. That's him dying off screen. It's a shame.
Yeah, it really is, because that's a character you grow to know in the first and second season of the original Transformers series, and then to have him die off screen, it's like, okay, that's...
Well, how many Autobots did we lose? How many Autobots did we lost? Ratchet. We never saw what happened to Ratchet. Ratchet died.
He gets killed in the beginning, remember? On the shuttle.
No, not Wheeljack, sorry.
Oh, Wheeljack. Yeah, Wheeljack. Well,
all you do later is see Wheeljack's body when they go to move that launcher. You see Wheeljack laying there with a hole in his chest, and you're like, what the hell happened to Wheeljack?
Yeah, they drag Wheeljack and Windcharger sitting there. And I don't know if you ever noticed this one, Loki. So you do see one of the other Autobots, and they were basically going after the 84 line, but they did take out a bunch of the 85 line as well. There's one scene where all the Autobots are running across the field of battle in that early attack on Autobot City. You actually see Grapple's legs running across the screen. So you can inference that he dies. Also, in the one scene when he's taking Hot Rod is taking Daniel up the Lookout Mountain, you see Huffer, you see blue.
You see Sunstreak's there
but
too.
You also see Trailbreaker.
Yeah, he's not supposed to be there, because when Prime gets there, he's standing on the ramp with Prime. He's the one who flew the ship in. Yep. So why? And that is because they cut that movie to hell. What they did was that was going to be a whole different movie. So they were starting with the animation cells. Starscream lives. There's actually cells that survived of Starscream later in the movie where Starscream's supposed to be there. So it's like they were already working on the movie, drawing, making the cells to make the movie when they came in and were like, okay, we're going to do this instead. Literally
It's
changing
funny.
direction in the middle of production, changing what they were going to do and changing it up, which is why you get that every once in a while you see something, you're like, wait a minute, why is he there?
Well, to add on to that, Loki, what you're saying, Starscream is supposed to be, supposed to be still alive. His toy was actually continued in the '86 line too, so he's part of the Seeker Squad in there, along with Soundwave and a few of the other ones. But another off-screen death that you don't see, there's actually two you never see or never hear about: Omega Supreme and Jetfire.
Yep.
And the way I did a breakdown on it, it could be inferenced that both of those guys actually died before the '86 movie.
It's possible because they hadn't finished season 2 yet. So a lot of people say, well, why didn't we get the aerial bots? Why didn't we get the what are the Stunticons? Why didn't we get this? Why didn't we get that? Because literally when they were making the movie, that wasn't done yet. They weren't made yet. So they were still working on season 2 of Transformers, the end of it, when they were working on the movie.
Well, plus you can.
Yeah,
only
I was going to add that
movie
they hadn't even, formulated what those characters were going to be like yet when they started working on the movie. And of course, it was Ron Freeman who had the exclusive rights to even start writing the movie. And one of the things he argued back and forth with Hasbro about, and Hasbro was adamant about it, was the killing of Optimus Prime.
We need a new leader that we can make that's easier to transform, that won't break. Because that was a thing with the toy line. Megatron was notorious for if you moved that leg the wrong way, blink, it came off the hinge and it was broke. And
Well,
that was it.
actually,
His
the
leg would,
thing the thing that would break more often than not on Megatron, it wasn't even so much the leg, Loki. And I only know this from repairing these toys for a number of years, because that's what I used to do to make extra money. I would buy broken lots of Transformers, I would repair them, make whole figures, and then sell them on eBay. And Megatron, more often than not, broke at the chest and that gun barrel that spun around, because everybody tried to spin it the opposite way, like the cartoon, and put it behind them, and they would always snap it right there. That's where I seen him broke more often than not. Like the legs were actually pretty solid die cast, and it wouldn't be until you got down to the handle part of the legs where they would get a little flimsy.
oh, that's what I was talking about when you flip the legs down. When you flipped them, because I did that. I broke one like that. I broke my buddy's one like that, and my dad had to buy him a new one because he was that. I'm never again. I was sitting there transforming him, and I went to bring the leg down, and I pulled it too quick, too fast, and I literally just yanked the leg, and it was just like, I went past the lock. So
it was a pretty interesting toy, though, I think, overall. Another one that they took from the Microchange line. Like the early iterations of that toy had none of those extras, like the silencer and the stand and everything. Didn't include any of that. It was like MP13 or something like that, the original Megatron for the Microchange line. Really, really cool. It came in different colors, too, before they settled on that chromed. And that was another cool thing about those toys that really made them stand out, is the chroming that they did on it. That was like legit metal chroming that they put over those things. It wasn't just paint.
Think about it. When they released the original 84 line, they took a lot of care in making those toys. Wasn't like they just slapped them together like they do now and said, okay, here you go.
Well, that's what I brought up earlier about Gen 2, was when you got Hot Rod and you got a lot of those toys after the movie, they were just straight up plastic, and they were very simple. They were like five remote change. It was like, okay, I'm put this down, I'm pull his legs apart, I'm bring his arms out, I'm push his fist down, and I'm done. He's transformed. And you're like, what happened to like going through the motion of transforming everything and getting them ready? That second toy line was ass. Hasbro they wanted something easier, simple, and cheaper than going through Takara Tomy all the time.
Well, you know what the biggest problem that they had with that 86 line and with a lot of those characters? So they went in the opposite direction that they normally would. Normally, the engineers at Takara would take their time and they would create these figures, and they would take all their time, and then they would make an animation cell. They made the animation cells of these figures first. then made the toys afterwards. So they had to kind of do the best they could to make it look like the vehicle form, then turn into a robot that look comparable to what you've seen on screen. A few carryovers from the old Diaclone line, of course, was Ultra Magnus, who was a battle convoy. I forget, it was like an upgraded battle convoy, which was the original Optimus Prime.
Yep.
That's all it originally was. He just got included, and there was a few other ones that got included, like I think it was Skids and a few other, or no, Skids. No, Skids was included in '85. But yeah, they were just additional add-ons from Diaclone, and that was the thing, because they didn't have the time to sit there and develop these things before the animation cells. They had to just do the best that they could, and I think it kind of shows in the toys. Granted, I don't think that they're the worst design things I've ever seen. It wasn't until they got into the Headmasters that Hasbro completely took over engineering that the quality really started going downhill, like really bad after that. Because once they got into Headmasters and Target Masters, that was all Hasbro, and that's when the line started really suffering and going downhill.
Still, Rodimus Prime is still Phil McCracken's favorite Transformer.
But no, let's get into that too. Here you have the '86 movie. You kill off Optimus Prime, big mistake. And then you have this new leader, Rodimus Prime, and in the cartoon series, they never gave him really any development to make you go, all right, he's new leader. Because what did they have him do? Complain about being the leader.
Yeah, he's not Prime, which is why they end up bringing Prime back. Is he was whining, and I don't know if I'm good enough to be the leader of the Autobots. This is not the same guy that ran up to Jazz and Bumblebee and all of them at the end of the movie and was like, Autobots, transform and roll out. And he, I knew you had potential, lad. It's not the same guy. It's nowhere near the same guy.
It's not. And they didn't take cues from the back of the bio when they wrote that figure, because he's supposed to be the more mature version of Hot Rod. So he's supposed to be that gung-ho cavalier that Hot Rod was, but now he's more mature and he's
tempered.
More tempered. Very good. Yeah. Sorry, Baron.
No problem. No worries. But I can see in the beginning, like maybe the first couple episodes, where he does have that doubt, and it is a new change for him in the world, but he's getting the reassurance from the proper fellow Autobots, and then boom, you're right. This is who I am. I have to do it. I mean, it'd even be perfect if he had like a ghost Optimus Prime, whether it's a memory or something that he said. Be a good way to bring Peter Cullen back.
I know.
To inspire him.
Chaga. Sorry, Bear.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah,
Chaga Optimus Prime.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're constantly having where he's doubting for the whole series, season, that's not good. I mean, the development growth would have been great, because I think a lot of kids would identify with that. Here's my first day of school for a new grade, and that you walk in right away, but you get that comforting arm, and then before you know it, you're into the swing of things. So yeah, they missed out. They missed out good opportunity to really make a strong character.
Well, not only that, but also in the episode, The Five Faces of Darkness, there was a 5-parter to open up season 3. Rodimus goes into the Matrix, and he learns from previous Autobot leaders, including Optimus Prime, the history of the Transformers. But there's an episode in season 3 called "The Burden Hardest to Bear," and Cup is even telling Hot Rod, Rodimus Prime, Optimus went through the same thing you're going through right now, and he learned to live with it. And that's what you need to do. Learn to live with it. The responsibility of leadership.
They really just did not plan out his character development. Real quick, I want to hit on something in the chat, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, Padawannabe, he says, I thought it was funny with the Transformers toy that they had the sticker that would change identities from Autobot to Decepticon or vice versa. The original reason that they actually put those heat stickers on there is because there were so many companies actually copying what they were doing. They were KOing them. So they said, well, how can we make ours unique so parents know that they're getting an official Transformer? And that's where the heat sensitive sticker came from. It wasn't that they did it to hide anything. Is they were looking for a way to actually identify theirs as being the legit toy that parents want to buy, because parents didn't really, a lot of those older parents, they had no clue what they were buying. That's why some kid said they wanted a Transformer and grandma bought him a GoBot.
And you know that
years of
that
therapy
same,
for McCracken.
that same rub technology where you would rub your thumb or finger on the Autobot or Decepticon symbol to find out which faction they belong to, they used it again in Visionaries.
They used it in G.I. Joe too with
Mm-hmm.
the swamp guys. I can't remember the names right now, but the swamp guys that changed base color and all that.
There was another toy line that Takara used that they originally had intended to actually be a part of the Transformers universe. And a lot of people always forget that, and that was Battle Beasts.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was initially, it was supposed to be there were cyber organic creatures, and they were supposed to be tied into the greater Transformers universe.
And good to see Bone. Yeah, that's something I didn't know about. I mean, you know,
Did we lose Mike?
I think we lost my. I was about to say.
Oh, I thought it might have been me.
Did I get cut
Dang that
off?
Mayberry.
Dang those
probably
Decepticons, man! I'm telling you.
sorry about that,
Mike
guys.
is-
My internet,
Oh, there
my
he is.
internet, my internet.
No.
But anyways, you know, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know every single fact there is to know about Transformers, you know, pre-Transformers, even during Transformers, because you got to remember that when the Transformers animated series ended here, it still continued in Japan. There were still stories being told in Japan, separate from what we do.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
Yeah. And basically, my point is, you look at this franchise, you look at its history, it's not just designated and kept in the United States. Japan told their own stories. And if you ever got a chance to see any of the series, they told them very well.
Well, here's another interesting thing with Japan, what they were doing when they were doing their own stories, especially when Transformers in the United States had ended. So they kind of continued on with the, where they were going with the Power Masters and Target Masters and everything. And they were doing like a God Masters. So one of the characters that they actually bring into that was actually something from the original Micro Change line that never made it into the Transformers originally, and it was the little Browning gun. So there was literally a character that they brought in called Browning, who's part of that. But that thing was originally a Diaclone toy gun that just never made the initial cut.
Well, you had multiple versions of Prime in Japan, which was called Convoy, but they were different. So, like the original Convoy dies in season. What is it? Is it the first episode of season 2, or is it the last episode of season 1? It's one of those. When you see Prime in our version roll down the mountain, you see him in that explosion, and it like blows out the side of that mountain. And he rolls down the mountain. Everybody's like, Prime! And you don't know what happens. Convoy dies. That's his death. He dies. And they have to like make a new Convoy. So there's multiple versions of Convoy that are killed off, upgraded, changed, combiners, all kinds of stuff like that from the original show. That's totally different than what we saw when we were watching it. We just got Prime. It's like what they did with that one guy in Voltron. Sven. Sven dies. He gets killed. In ours, it's like, oh, we had to take him back to Galaxy Garrison. He'll be back one day. And then he's like in love with this chick and not the Sven we all knew. Yeah, that's because that's not Sven. That was a whole different character. That was like Sven's cousin or some shit.
I know we're like right. I know we're focusing on Transformers, but it's like then some of the changes that they did in the Netflix excuse me, the Voltron series. Well, that's for another time. But like, wait a second, Keith is not with this person. Keith is supposed to love the princess, Stone Loki, and yeah. Wait a second here. Somebody didn't do their research. Oh, I see. You guys want to put some kind of agenda in there that doesn't belong. Got it. Okay.
Well, it's like Voltron being the defender of the universe. Guess what Voltron was? Voltron was a mad dog killer. He was a mad dog killer that was traveling the galaxy, daring anything to fight him and destroy him. And he was just slicing and dicing until this universal spirit was like, you need to stop this or I'm going to spank you. And he was like, I'll kill you too. And she spanked him and basically lobotomized his ass and broke him up into 5 pieces so that he could never go on a killing streak like that again. And that's why when the space explorers find him, they have to control him. It's not like he controls himself.
Yeah, and even when Transformers continued in Japan, you had the Headmaster series. Yes, they brought Optimus Prime back, or as he's known in Japan, Convoy back in The Return of Optimus Prime. But Japan's up, we're going to kill him again.
We'll do it again.
And again. And again.
And heck, even Beast Wars did it at one point.
Oh, yeah, Beast Wars. Oh, yeah, they did it too.
Yep.
Didn't the second Megatron blow his head clean? He blew his head clean off.
I don't have the whole clip, but I do have part of the clip.
So, we are now face to face. Optimus Prime. In one future, you awaken and become the great leader of the Autobots. But time shall take a different track now. And now, Optimus Prime, in memory of the Decepticons, for the glory of the Predacons, for the Cybertron that is rightfully ours.
And then he blows Optimus Prime's head, and a whole lot of changes go on.
Yep. On that note, Mike, I've gotta run. I appreciate you having me on, brother. Thank you.
Not a problem, brother.
Baron, always a pleasure, brother. Always a pleasure to get to hang out with you, bro.
Always a pleasure with you, Stone Loki. We gotta get together more often, man. See who can get louder.
Yes.
I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to join us tonight and talk to
my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you, man, for having me on.
And I will probably DM you one of these days to take you up on your offer that you extended to all of us yesterday to join you on your Tuesday show.
Taco Tuesday. I'm making a list. I'm checking it twice. Anybody that wants on, just DM me.
I love Taco.
We'll work something out.
Yeah, dude.
Sounds good, brother.
Tommy, always a pleasure. Pop, thank you for having me. And bro, Megatron up in the.
What's up, buddy?
Take it easy, brother.
We'll have to talk again more soon, Loki. It's
Mega Cash.
It's Mega Cash.
There you go.
Cash.
You have
How does it feel, Lord Mega Cash?
You have a great. That's right. Yes.
Yeah. You guys take it easy. Thank you.
Hey, take care.
To all are one. Good show tonight.
To all are one.
Yep.
Till all are one. So Pop.
Yes.
You're on the spot now, Pop. No pressure.
What is something that we haven't brought up yet that you would like to talk about?
Whoa. Megatron. I do like my Unicron. That's got to be one of the most iconic in universe Transformer. It spans like from the movie, but also into like Beast Wars and into everything like that. Like a more powerful icon for that the Transformers themselves are in fear of is that guy. And yeah, I like Unicron as a villain. He makes a really good and good on Orson Welles for doing such a good job voicing him.
Even with the fact that they had to, do all sort of audio techniques to get his voice
because he was so
to sound right.
sick then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy pop. It's just, it's pop culture. I better call you pop culture because there is another pop around.
Yes, yes, that's fine.
But yeah, dude, it's amazing. It's just incredible what animation's like. No way, a big actor's doing a voice of that. No way, and it happens. It's just because they're really pumped about the role and
Yeah.
Well,
Orson Welles
he
definitely
made it
wanted
known
to-
he was doing it for the paycheck. It's like he had
Oh,
no
did he?
idea what he was doing. Yeah.
Probably
Oh,
not.
no.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm
see that, yeah.
voicing some toy is what I've heard
Yeah.
a lot of people say, and
Mhm.
Voicing a toy.
But then again,
Megatron.
look at all the stuff, with the shadow and all that. I mean, you should be used to it, but no.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
I don't know, and it has Leonard Nimoy as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good on him for doing Galvatron. I mean,
Yeah,
You know?
he's great. Yeah.
Judd Nelson was doing Hot Rod. So I don't know if you ever seen this
Yeah.
one. Did you ever see the prototype that they originally did for Unicron? So I put it in the private chat if you want to take a look. I
have a
don't know
look
if Mike
here.
wants to
Yeah.
bring it up, but
Yeah,
reaction.
I'll bring it up here in just a second. I'm just getting Loki's links.
Mm.
So
Okay, no,
everybody can
no problem, no
follow
problem. Yes,
on
the
the
reaction
various
did a
platforms.
three and three quarter of the original prototype, and this is what the damn thing looked like. It was so horrible, and it wasn't until our Armada toy line that we
Ooh.
actually got a really good Unicron. Granted, that last one that Hasbro Pulse did was ridiculously overpriced, but amazing looking. But holy crap, the price on that damn thing! And yeah, Orson Welles, and that was his last role too.
yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that
this
toy.
is what Tommy's talking about, and yeah, no,
Wow.
imagine that much grander size, especially back
Oh,
in
yeah.
'86. Yeah, that is what they were going with.
Disappointment.
You're not kidding. I mean, I don't know about you, Tommy, or you, Pop, Cash, or Baron, but the first time I saw the Armada Unicron in stores, I was thinking to myself, where was this when I was a kid?
Don't you hate that? But you're still a kid. Doesn't mean you still can't get it and have fun,
Wait a minute, I'm not. Son of a bitch! Somebody needs to tell my wife that. No, don't tell my wife that. Shit.
Well, I think I remember walking
no
by
one's-
that in the store, and I was looking at it. I'm like, $100. Woo.
Yeah, because that's the thing. As we've mentioned before, Transformers weren't cheap.
No.
I remember the first time they started doing some of the more extravagant ones. Like they would. Do you guys remember they did that oversized Grimlock? He was like 11 to 12 inches tall, and he came with
Yeah.
the crown, and he came with the tray and all that stuff. But he looked like the G1, except with a ton of extra articulation. I remember looking at that thing, and it's $75. I was like, damn, that's a lot of money, but that thing is awesome. And I wanted it so bad, but at the time I was actually in a bad place financially where I didn't have any kind of like stable income. So I was like asking the wife, I was like, and she's like, no. I was like, but I said, if we get a few of these, I guarantee they're going to go up in price in a few years. And a few years later, that same $75 toy was selling for over $350. And I'm looking around, I was like, we could have cleaned up. We could have cleaned up on this thing.
Why don't you listen to me?
I don't know. All this talk about all these toys and stuff, and they're still making good quality. It's like, do I need to start a new collection of something?
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, I'm still picking up the Studio Series when I can, when it's financially viable for me to do it. Out of a lot of the newer ones they did, and he's not even considered part of the '86 line because he never appeared in it. But they did a United Legacy version of Gears, hands down, one of the best figures I've seen them do in the past year. Like this thing is absolutely amazing. Like, granted, I didn't get the Prime. I heard really good things about it, but out of all the other ones I've seen Studio Series, other than like Brawn, there's a lot of problems with the Ratchet and the Ironhide with things clicking together. And the same thing with the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. I had problems with that thing clicking and porting together the way it should have been. It wasn't seamless, but the Gears one, If you are a fan of the G1 stuff, if you can go out to like your local Walmart, it's like $19.99 to get that Gears. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. That thing is amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, if I see it, I might pick it up. I almost picked up Braun a few weeks ago, and I actually put him back on the peg. I'm like, no, I have other things I have to pay for that are more important.
You know what? So this is another one. I managed to pick it up only because it was on sale. So Target has a sale in the 2-pack with the battle damage with him and Ratchet. And I forget, it's like 15 to 20% off, whatever the hell it is. But it was like, yeah, $60. No, way too much. But with 15% off, lowering that price, okay, now it's a little bit more reasonable. But even then, I mean, it's still a lot of money to buy those damn things. I mean, on average, $25 if you're going to Target. But that's why I tell people, if you're looking for these things, if you can, go look at them Walmart first, because most of them are knocked down to $19.99 there for their standard deluxe figures.
Nice.
Yeah,
I managed 20 years ago. I managed to pick up the Masterpiece Optimus Prime from Walmart, and still got that. Lucked
Very
out.
nice.
So Walmart can still hook me up with Transformers. All right, I'll keep that in mind.
Yes, for Walmart can Tokyo Transformers. I mean, we mentioned the Studio 86 Optimus Prime earlier, and my sister already knows what I want for Christmas. I've dropped several hints.
I'm sure you have.
Did you circle it in the catalog for her, Mike?
Mike's doing like a young Mike would do. He's leaving little crayon drawings of Optimus Prime on the fridge.
No. Honestly, present day 21st century Mike, all he did was send the links to where she could order it.
Subtle.
So there was one other thing we didn't mention with the original toy line. So when Diaclone were doing all those figures, the one big standout, like I was saying with Marvel, giving them personalities and all that stuff, those original Diaclone idea behind the toys and the storyline, they were not sentient. They were basically like battle armor. That's why you got certain ones, like everybody always pissed and moaned about the Ironhide and Ratchet. They look so horrible because they really didn't have a face and they just put a sticker there. Yeah, because it was nothing but a seat, because they were a piloted robot. That's all they were. That's why they came with the little Diaclone figures, which were even more shrunk down versions of their Microman figures. So I just thought I would mention that as well. That's why all the early ones, all of them have pilot seats, including the Insecticons and the Dinobots. That's why they got the opening chest platforms. It was for a Diaclone figures in them.
Yeah, I always wondered that when I was a kid. I was like, why does this thing open? Like, what goes in here? Does this store the missiles? Or it was weird but yeah, now it makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah, and if you look at the original Blaster toy, you see that there's an on and off switch, there's a dial, and there's on the back, you can see where there could have been a battery cover, but it's all solid back there. But in the original Diaclone release, not only does Blaster's battery compartment open where you can actually put actual batteries into him. Actually, I need to correct myself. In the battery compartment, that's where you can store all his accessories. In one of his legs, you open that up, and that's the battery compartment where you can put actual batteries in. And he came with this little, it wasn't really a cassette, but it had a recording that you put into his tape deck. You flip on the on switch, and there's a dial, and it came with headphones that you can plug into the headphone jack on the figure.
Well, that they also had another version of him where he was actually AM/FM radio, and there was a few other companies that were doing theirs. I have this one that's called, I forget what he was called now. I think he was just called Cassette Guy or Cassette Robot, Transformer Cassette Robot or something like that, AM/FM radio. So they had an AM/FM radio, they had an AM radio, and then they had an FM radio one. I have the AM radio one. So, I mean, they were doing stuff like that where they were actually legit working radios too.
I mean, that's just something you learn along the way as you're doing research. like Tommy has done, like I have done, like Pop has done. To learn more about the toy line. And that's another fascinating aspect of the Transformers history is, learning where everything came from and seeing where it is now. Yeah, I don't think the quality is there like it used to be with Transformers, especially when you look at the newer figures of all the hollow parts. I don't know if you feel that same way, Tommy.
There are definitely some that they've actually dropped the ball on, and I would say one of their biggest lines where they've dropped the ball more often than not is on their crossover lines, especially when it comes to the G.I. Joe Transformers crossovers. Like I have that Megatron His Tank. He looks great as a His Tank. He looks suspect as hell as a robot. There are such big hollow spots on that thing. It's horrible. And I didn't want to buy any more of them. And I heard the Bumblebee wasn't much better. I did hear the Soundwave one was really nice, though. And they say that the Cup one is actually supposed to be better than some of the early ones. So maybe they're starting to learn those lessons. Some of the other crossovers that have been, kind of like almost there, not quite, was the Ghostbuster crossover with the Ectotron, I believe he's called. So really nice robot. It's a really great version of the Ecto 1, but where they absolutely drop the ball is all the soft plug-in goods that just don't plug in on the damn thing and they hang off it and it looks terrible. I mean, there's always some mistakes that they're making now. That's why I made mention of that Gears figure. Like that one is just, I don't think they could have done it any better. It's almost picture perfect. And it's not to say that every single one of their toys are horrible. It's just a good bulk of them right now. They're not doing proper engineering on them. They're not worried about covering up a lot of hollow spots. They're putting toys out there that could be a lot better. I mean, another crossover is the Turtle Van, the Party Wallop. I did a review on that one. Nice looking figure, but there are tons of problems when it comes to articulation and things porting in a certain way and not staying in. That they're absolutely like, I don't know, they're getting the lowest common denominator of engineers working on these things now. But every once in a while, they will surprise you with a really nice piece. So some of the quality is still there, but yeah, more oftentimes than not, you're getting these ones that are almost, they feel like throw-ins. And the biggest problem with Hasbro is the reuse of molds. And it's not to say they didn't do that early on, obviously, with the Secret Jets, Prowl, Blue Streak, and Red Alert. Then you look at Smokescreen. Then you look at Red Alert being an exact copy of Sideswipe. You look at Hoist being a copy of Trailbreaker, where they just made a few changes, and of course Grapple and Inferno. And they've done that over and over again. The problem is when you reuse a mold too many damn times, joints become weak, things that just don't snap together the way they should. And that's always been Hasbro's problem. I mean, you look at a lot of the other toy companies, they were doing the same thing. Mattel was doing the same thing with He-Man and Masters of the Universe. They had like 4 basic molds that they would use over and over and over again for most of their figures. And of course, over time, those things become weak and they become brittle. I mean, it doesn't take much to just every once in a while clean those molds up, make sure that they're not going to fall apart. And it really is a shame when Hasbro just doesn't pay attention. There are a few figures they've reused the mold a few times on. So the Studio Series 86 Grimlock, they've redone him 2 more times. So they did a G2 unreleased colored version, which I have. Then they also just put out the comic book version from Marvel Comics with slightly different colors. And from what I understand, it's supposed to be just as the original, no degradation in the mold. And the same thing with the Blaster and the Perceptor molds that they used. Those ones, nice. They must have cleaned up the molds, and those things have held together very well.
Very nice. Now, before we bring in our next guest, we are going to go to our next commercial break.
Transformers, 40 Years of Robots in Disguise will return after these messages.
A new motion picture will transform the summer of 1986 into an incredible adventure. Transformers, the movie. An epic story of good versus evil. This spectacular animated adventure stars Orson Welles as Unicron, Leonard Nimoy as Galvatron, Robert Stack as Ultra Magnus, Judd Nelson as Hot Rod, and Eric Idle as the Junkion warrior Wreck-Gar. Summer of 1986, the most exciting adventure in the universe is on planet Earth. Transformers, the movie. Coming this summer to a theater near you.
We now return to Transformers 40 Years of Robots in Disguise.
Mike, it sounds like you had a cold when you did those intros and outros.
I did. He's like nasal drip. He's like, we're now return to.
Well, did you guys notice something about that?
Yes.
The Ultra Magnus is the Diaclone colors.
Yes. And Steven, welcome to the stream, brother.
Thank you. I'm always here to talk about GoBots.
Hi,
guys.
Man.
Hello.
Man.
Hi, Tommy.
But yeah, I did record it when I had my cold and I was dealing with the flu. So it's like I have these videos I have to get done before the stream. So it's like you got to do it, Mike. But Steven, real quick, tell us how. Silence, Steven, scream.
No. Oh God, my guy's having a twig right now. What the hell?
But anyways, tell us how you got into Transformers, brother.
Honestly, I don't even know. I think my dad bought a bunch of the old VHSs, and I still have a couple of them. And I just got into it. I think one day, I don't know, the theme song started playing, robots were transforming, and the next thing you know, I was hooked. And I still remember some of the episodes. One was, oh God, what is the dinosaur base? I could never remember the dino base on the Decepticon side that transforms. We had Metroplex on one side, and what was the Tripticon. In the intro, it had Tripticon. It was still doing the grid intro. I think what was that, season 2 or season 3? And you just see this thing, and I'm like, what the am I watching? And ever since, got hooked on that. But I really got into it when Beast Wars dropped. When Beast Wars dropped, I watched that religiously as the animation went from horrible to almost good. And then I tried to get into Beast Machines, where Left Field did the opening theme song for them, which was called Fat Planet, and it wasn't kind of the same. The animation was there, but the storyline and the amount of villains felt very lacking, and I didn't like the way a lot of the Transformers looked. And from there was it the Microcons? There was Armada.
There was
the
car robots, which was Robots in Disguise here in the States, and then you had the trilogy, which was Armada, Energon, and Cybertron. After that, before Transformers Animated.
Okay, what was the one with they had the smaller Transformers, and they would actually attach on and become weapons?
That was part of Armada.
That was Armada, right? That was the combiners, wasn't it?
They were like boosts. They were like add-ons. Like we were talking earlier, Pop had brought up the Unicron, and they came out with the first figure for Unicron in the Armada series, and he came with a little mini moon figure. I've got that one stored in the back still. That's where they started doing those little mini bots. Funny side note again, since you mentioned GoBots, in that line with those little mini bots, the little mini cons and stuff, they actually had one that was called Leader One.
That was cool. I know I have the talking Optimus up here. We're like, hold on, let me grab it. Excuse me, MODOK. I have a couple of the Wish Optimuses, and I have the dead Optimus still in his the back of his. I think it's the back of his truck, the gray one, the special edition they did. But you should know the trailer actually makes sounds, and Optimus is fully transformable. Got this from Daryl.
Yeah, that's the G2 Optimus Prime that they released in the early 90s.
And he still has all the parts in the trunk. Not my drugs. But yeah, I've been a fan of them. I think I love Transformers and Beast Wars the most. Like, it was just something when the moon first circled over, and you're starting to see the golden coin, and then as it starts, their evolution of transformation starts happening. Dinobot starts becoming a Shakespearean halfway through the series, and you're like, what is he doing with these monologues? And then you slowly watch the madness of Megatron, and then you got Optimus, then you got Optimus Primal, and then you have Optimal Optimus, and then it goes. Optimal Optimus was the last one, right, where he took the spark in the Matrix when Megatron blew Prime's face off, right?
Yeah. That is Optimal Optimus.
Yeah, but they found Teletran 1. All that shit. It was that thing that you just wanted to watch more of. It was like Power Rangers. It's like, oh my God, new season's coming. They're going to have new costumes. And then it went back to episode 1 when they're crashing on the planet in the little battle. You're like, oh, not again. It was like scarring for a kid.
Yep. And how cool was it when you heard Primal say this?
Stay close, Maximum. It's time to transform and roll out.
But they couldn't roll out.
The only one that could was Rat Trap.
Roll that. I don't count Rat Trap. No, but it was nice. It's nice watching the Black Arachnid and Silverhawk romance and all that stuff. Yeah, it was just a good series. Transformers Gen 1 though was better.
It was because you watch the evolution from season 1 going into season 2, and then they start connecting the dots to G1, and they were able to intertwine everything very well. Basically letting you know that the Maximals and Predacons traveled even further back in time before the Autobots and Decepticons crashed on Earth, and how that whole story intertwined, but also the character development in Beast Wars. Dinobot and his honor. And then, you have Black Arachnia, who changes sides from Predacon to Maximal, and the dynamic between her and Silverbolt, who's always her knight in shining armor.
Oh, God. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. All right. Question for the panel. Black Arachnia, wood or pass?
What the hell?
I think that's a wood in silence because they don't want to look weird on stream.
You are one strange monkey, Steven.
I am. She was. I don't care. She was.
Here's a side note, though, for the Beast Wars line. So I mentioned earlier how Takara had stopped doing engineering and Hasbro had taken it over right around the Target Masters and Headmaster line. It wasn't until the Beast Wars came out that Takara got involved with all the engineering again. And I think that's one of the reasons why the toys did so well. I wasn't a huge Beast War fan. I didn't really care for the animation, but I thought the toys were fantastic. And that was why, because Takara came back in with their amazing engineering and really, really just made some outstanding toys. They were even getting re-released recently. I found a few over in Ollie's, like dirt cheap. So
I would like to quickly deny whatever you're wrong is typing in the chat. I don't know anything about cats and Haitians. Weird. What is this? I'm sorry.
Are you sure about that? You're wrong.
I'm gonna come.
Fats does not look like Alf to me.
No. Not as hairy. In some places.
Now, I do regret not buying Optimal Optimus when I saw him in a Kmart one time.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I saw him, oh, that's a nice looking figure. But at that time, it would have been one of those things where you got bills to pay, and so you got to pay the bills. But I do regret not picking him up.
I was the same way with the what was it, the giant Starscream with the crown that sat there in Toys R Us that had the huge box. I'm like, I don't really want to drop $300.
Yeah,
I don't really feel like doing that. So then I would go home and went to Wish, and I was like, okay, what can I get from Wish that hopefully will actually arrive and not fall apart? And like some of their Transformers aren't bad. I know they're not legit, but they're still pretty cool to have around if you can't go for like the heavy die-cast stuff.
Yeah.
If quality's good enough, that's all that should matter. So.
It's not Temu, so or Temu, so it's definitely a little bit higher up in quality. I'm mumbling. Not how you spell Trudeau.
Trudeau's a Decepticon anyway.
He's a Comic-Con.
He's
More
a
than
gastrobot.
fast- More than faster. More than fastest. No. Fascist. No. Okay, we're talking.
But that's another aspect of collecting Transformers. If you can't buy the legitimate Hasbro release or Takara release, there's always other options. You just got to know what you're getting into.
There definitely are. My co-host, my partner over there on Collectible Pass, Vinny Art, he's actually picked up quite a few of these third-party companies that do Transformers type figures. And I'm telling you, some of the quality in those things are even better than what Hasbro and Takara are putting out at times. It really is amazing. And you kind of wonder why. I mean, these are coming from China. Well, where do you think 90% of the ones that are being made right now are coming from? They're coming out of China and other places like that. So it's the same manufacturing process, but some of these third-party companies are not tied down by licensing, so they can actually put a little bit more care into the engineering of what they're doing. Like they have a third-party Megatron that looks more like the G1 character from the cartoon, transforms into a gun that you're never going to get from Hasbro and Takara.
What are your thoughts on the Loyal Subjects doing those vinyl collectibles of the Transformers? Like they had like the special versions, even the ones that would talk. Because I have a couple of them. I don't know where they are.
Well, I've seen a few of them, and I like the ones that transform. Like the ones that are just stationary vinyl figures, I don't care much for them because to me that defeats the point of it being a transformer. If it's not transforming, I don't want it.
That makes sense. I kind of like both. Like I think I know which one you're talking about. You're talking about like the third companies like you'll find on websites where they actually will do the customs there and they do their own private funding, right? I know I've seen a couple of the gun ones, and I'm not a huge fan of the Megatron tank. I actually prefer they even have snap models where you can do Megatron and just build them together with the past pieces. I think Soundwave's another one, and I love those ones.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's why I brought up the one Megatron I seen this third party company doing, and I can't remember if it's the same company you mentioned because Vinny had brought it up one time, and yeah, but it transforms into the gun. It looks incredible, just like the cartoon. It did a spectacular job on it. It's just, yeah, once again, you're not getting any of the branding, so that's easily corrected just by getting some stickers from Toy Hacks.
And you're good to go. Yeah, that's exactly it. We have something up here in Canada. Well, in my area, it's called the. I think it's called TFCon, and it's a full Transformers fest where you can come and buy parts, buy pieces for your missing Transformers. They sell the new ones, the old ones, and it's just tables and tables of just Transformers everywhere. It's crazy. Useless knowledge from Canada. There you go.
Is that in Ontario?
I wanted to give folks an example of some of the third-party versions of Transformers. This is a version of RC.
Oh yes, that one's yes. They always seem to put her in weird poses. Yes, that's the that's the one. Yes, that's the one. Yes, that goes back to the now it comes back to the would or should. It's not in car form because I've seen too many YouTube videos like that with the exhaust pipe.
You guys feel that's a reasonable price? I mean, I guess it depends on the quality. But,
when you compare it to what they're asking for any of the masterpiece figures from Takara and Hasbro, yeah.
I just wait for deals.
Yeah, well, wait for a Prime Day or something like that.
Oh, the Prime Days are coming up, but yeah, there's like even you can see on the back of my screen, like a wish here. Like I got this Optimus, and for $28, he's not bad.
That isn't bad. So Wish is pretty decent then for a website to.
Not all the time, but you
somewhat. Okay.
And I don't know if anyone else has seen it, but the new movie that came out, it's actually pretty good. It was.
You said you liked it a lot. I think you gave it an 8 out of 10.
I gave it 8 out of 10. It was good. I actually had fun with it. And they got the different variants. I'm not a huge fan of the Bay one, the Bay Transformers, at all. But I think Soundwave is pretty much my favorite with all the tapes and stuff. Yeah, like they're asking for $158 for these ones. And they give you 5 free Energon cubes. But like, yeah.
And that is something we can talk about now. Granted, none of the rest of us have seen Transformers 1, but watching the trailers that have been released, Is it a maybe? Is it a pass? Or is it a wait till it comes out on streaming? What are your thoughts on Transformers 1 that comes out Friday?
It hasn't come out yet? Wait, has it not come out?
Not here in the States yet.
Oh, okay. Well, then don't ask how I saw it then.
I'm not asking. I'm not asking.
I'd say that.
I'm just.
I don't know.
How did I get kicked off the show? Yo ho, yo ho.
Apollo said she found a Transformer mini diecast of Bumblebee in the Volkswagen form.
Nice. And hello to everybody watching over on Steven's channel right now.
Hello.
It's worth watching. If you're not like going to be crazy about, I guess, lore and continuity, I'm not a huge lore master, but the way they built the relationship with Megatron and Alpha Pax, eventually Optimus Prime, it's a good movie. It's a good kids movie. It's a good family movie. They make Bumblebee not an idiot, but they make him more of a comedian. But it works in his favor. The comedy's delivered right, and there's no real like moments where you're like, It doesn't make you like how we see most Hollywood films. It's very what's the word I'm looking for like it's very I guess warming, but that's not the word I'm looking for.
So the trailer didn't do it justice then.
No,
because
no,
the
that,
way
that
they,
no,
okay,
no,
okay.
no. The trailer was
yeah.
like a retarded stepchild for YouTube. It was like, how you like the movie? He's drooling.
Well, it was
crying
just
and shit
weird
at
how
the
they were,
movie.
talking about in the trailer about how they transform and stuff. Like that's not how.
That's kind of what I was saying. You can't go by the trailer, man.
No, you can't always go by the trailer. Did you like all the voices then? Were there some voices you didn't care for, Steven? Or
Not at all. I had no like that. The voices weren't the complaints. I was just wish it was a little bit longer, but it didn't.
Okay.
It was. I gave it an 8 because I didn't want to. I can't give anything a 10. Nothing's ever
It's
perfect.
hard, man. It's
Yeah.
hard. It's very hard to do that. I understand.
Especially after Black Erect. Yeah. I'm sorry.
A log gave a spider. No, but getting to Black Arachnia, she did have great character development in Beast Wars and going
She had
into
development. Yeah.
and Beast Machines.
Gosh.
I'm sorry.
No need to apologize.
I'm a horrible person.
No,
Yes.
because remember,
Yes, you are.
the first female Autobot that we were actually supposed to get was RC, but in the middle of developing the movie back in for 86, they decided to come up with Wardon, and you got Ariel, and then of course,
Well,
the search
actually,
for Alpha Tron.
that was way before it, Mike. That was like in 80. Was that 85?
Yeah, but while they were developing the movie and they created RC, they decided, you know what, we better have an episode of the series where we introduce other female Autobots. This way, RC doesn't come out of nowhere.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and that was the thing. I remember when they first did the Netflix version, there was a lot of people bitching about, they're gender swapping all these Autobots. No, they already existed, guy. Every single one that they mentioned in the Netflix version was introduced in the old G1 cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not all of them. They left a few out, like what was it? A Green Light. I don't think they had Green Light in it, and there was a couple others they didn't have. But Chromia was a standout in that one, and she already existed in the G1 cartoon. So.
My favorite was when they had the sexy RC statue coming out, and they were trying to cancel it, going, "Why are you sexualizing women in robot form?" I'm like, robot. It's a robot. And people were offended by. You guys don't remember this? That was like an argument on Twitter. People were like upset about RC.
It was because I remember seeing somebody post a picture of RC from Transformers the movie where she's protecting Daniel when they're escaping Autobot City, and the way they have her pose, this is wrong. Was a kid's movie. This is wrong. You shouldn't have the character pose like this. I'm thinking, oh gosh, I'm glad you weren't alive back then.
But But those are the same people that sat there and argued why RC should be transgender now. So do we really take those people
What?
seriously?
No, it's a robot, man. Come on, man.
That's like saying Transformers not binary. I'm like, but they use binary code.
They do. That's just ridiculous.
I don't know if anyone knows about the XM Studio one, but this is with Hasbro, right? These are top of the line, I'm guessing. These would look beautiful.
I really like that.
Whoa, I just kind of inceptioned myself. I did not mean to do that.
Well, right there we go. Yeah, I mean, look at the detail, and you can already see the engineering that went into creating the figure too.
That's their coffee cup, and that's how big the statue is. Jesus.
That's real cool.
No, that's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How much is that?
I don't
300?
know. I just googled
Oh, okay.
RC statue, and it's probably Tommy probably knows more than me.
If it's a statue, I guarantee it's going to be at least your firstborn. It's good. They're going to be expensive. Usually, they're over $1,000 some odd dollars for those statues.
Okay. Wow.
Holy! Is that saying 3,500 euros?
Yeah.
That says 35.
Yeah.
No, I was wrong. It's missing a zero. That's 350. That's 35,000. No, 100,000 euros.
Oof.
Oh boy.
Man.
Retail. That's the deposit. My bad.
Yeah.
It's 13.99 euros for that. Yeah, I would rather pay rent.
Yeah.
More important.
I've got a mortgage to pay.
I'll put this in the private chat, so I don't know if you guys ever heard of this because I don't want to take over the stream, you weirdo. Oh God, get me off the big screen! It's Inception-y, guys. Look, it's going. Look, it's look at that. Oh,
I see it. Oh, there you
Hold
go.
was
on,
awesome.
Steven. I've got you off the big screen. Hold
Thank
We
on.
can't have too much fats out there. We
No,
need
no,
multi-fats.
I'm just a
multiverse
guest
fats.
here. I met Optimus Prime at a truck stop, says Apollomedes. But the voice actor, or like the talking truck?
This is starting to get awkward.
No. Because here's another possibility, Baron. There are people that have actually bought the Peterbilts that were used in the movie, or they bought Peterbilts of the same model and made them into Optimus Prime. So it could be where she was at a truck stop and that's where she saw it. I don't know. We'll wait and hear back.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was. But still, you got to drop a one-liner on that.
Oh, I'm not going to get yelled at by Apollomedes, so you guys can do it with the hashbag.
I'm not getting yelled at by Apollomedes.
I'm sorry,
I like
Apollomedes.
Apollomedes. I like
I'm
Apollomedes.
sorry, Apollomedes. It's the
I like
misogyny here.
Apollomedes
It's
too.
crazy. The
Yeah, what
misogyny
the-
here is insane. Oh, the
Oh, my-
truck. So someone actually bought probably one of the trucks in one of the actual movies then.
Nice.
Misogyny. Oh no.
Okay, that's my
That's
fault.
just-
I didn't ask it any women if they were fans of Transformers and they wanted to be on the stream. That completely falls on me.
Wow.
Mike wanted his He-Man Woman Haters Club. Come on, admit it.
No girls allowed.
Right, exactly.
He's in his clubhouse.
Yeah.
I am shocked the guinea pig made it on here. All the bigotry leading this panel, Mike. I am just shocked.
There's too many white people.
Oh,
And let's go ahead and welcome in our next guest. I'm going to go ahead and play this.
Is it too many?
The Transformers will return after these messages. We now return to the Transformers.
Welcome, Spock. How are you doing, brother?
He can't talk. His mouth is full.
Hey, how's it going, Steven?
Hey,
How's it going, everybody?
Spocko.
Hello.
How's it going, Pop? How's it going, Cash?
Hey, it's good.
How are you
Okay,
talking with that
thank you.
straw in your mouth?
Eh?
How you
Oh,
talking with it?
well, Hold on.
Give me 2 straws
Okay,
in his
that's
mouth
better.
now.
Yeah, now I'm
Wrong
serious.
franchise, Captain Sheridan.
I was gonna say, are we doing our Babylon 5 stream again?
Oh hell no!
Sorry,
No,
I'm
no,
late,
no, no.
Mike. I had traffic on the way over here. I had some class today, so I had to get there.
No
early.
worries,
But
no
it's good to be here.
That happens,
you
dude.
tricked me
Yeah.
into Babylon 5, bro. I don't
No,
do
no,
that.
this isn't a Babylon
Hey,
5
This
stream.
better not be a Babylon 5 stream. I covered that crap first. You copycat.
You even had
It's
one
good
of
to
the
see
actors
everybody.
on your show.
Yeah, we had Lita on twice. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suppose she likes to
And then
ride dragons naked. That's what was one of the clips from the stream.
And then she unfriended you.
No, oh yeah, when I think it was when
Yeah.
when Elvira was going insane about I'm gonna take my music off Spotify and the weird crap that was going on during that time.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool, that's great. Thanks for being on the show twice, Lena. She was also she was Barbara from Night from the Living Dead.
Yep.
Yeah. Back to Transformers though, by the way. I'm sorry. Yeah,
No, it's all right. And speaking of Transformers, Spock, you're
Is trans or is he a former?
Oh no!
Wow.
I thought he was Vulcan. I really did. I thought he
It's
was
Vulcan,
Vulcan.
yeah.
Yeah. No, we don't have that stuff on Vulcan, but yeah, Transformers. Yeah.
Now, you came into Transformers at a different point than some of us did. So
Yes.
why don't you let us know how old you were when you came into Transformers and what Transformers show or movie it was that caught your attention?
I don't remember exact. I was probably around, I want to say 8 or 9 when I first saw the 2007 one. I was pretty young. I wasn't sure what I was walking into because I only knew a little bit of it because of my dad, and my dad grew up with Transformers, and he knew all of the earlier generations, of course. I don't know if he how deep he was into it because I know he watched the television show, but that's probably all he knew. So he kind of convinced me to go watch it with him the first movie with Michael Bay, and then I remember I really enjoyed the experience of just the classic Michael Bay experience, the explosions and everything. That was pretty cool at first, but then other than that, like the story I thought was pretty good. So I wasn't too used to how they were supposed to be portrayed. That was just my first interpretation of them, and I really liked it. I like obviously the Linkin Park music in that movie too, because I'm big into rock music, and Linkin Park was a big inspiration for me for some of the music I make, but not because of that movie. I actually remember listening to some of their other songs, but that movie had some good taste in music. I remember until the fourth one, maybe, I guess, when what's his name? Not Chris, Mark Wahlberg came into the picture. That's when it really went downhill. And I would say even though Shia LaBeouf was in the third movie, I didn't like that one too much either. But we can get into that later if you want. But yeah, that's kind of like how I was first brought into it. Just watched it at the movie theater, and then grew up into watching to I don't know, see how it would expand into something else, but turned into a slop, unfortunately.
I think that was the last night that made it the slop.
Sorry.
Did no one watch was it last night where Optimus had the sword and stuff? And it was last night, wasn't it?
I thought it was
asking about
Age
here
of
last-
Extinction. I thought it was Age of Extinction where he had
No,
the
Age of
sword.
Extinction, he rode the Dinobot, but no, the other one where he got taken over, and then
Yeah, that was the last night where he got taken over.
I
whereas me-
barely remember that one. All I remember after the third movie was just like constant advertisements, just like Beats pill, Apple here, Lamborghini. Like, it wasn't really about the Transformers anymore, or like the original story. And I think even Shia LaBeouf said there wasn't really a point to continue that character because even he knew, like, it was just stupid. But
Well, what did Mark Wahlberg did what 2 Transformer films at least? I know he did 1.
Did 2 or 3? I'm not too sure.
I don't
Let
know.
me check.
I never really cared about watching those. I stopped after 3. Oh, and Bumblebee. I watched Bumblebee. I still don't think Bumblebee is a bad film.
Yeah, I like that movie. I like what they did with Rise of the Beast too, I guess.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I guess a lot of people, because I was talking to some of my friends and a lot of them don't share his opinion with me, was that I wasn't a big fan with the whole G.I. Joe thing. And spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it. I mean, that movie's been out for a while now, so go watch it. But yeah, I mean,
You
it's
just
they had
ruined,
like
you
a whole
just ruined it for me. What the hell?
Ruined.
I watched
been
it.
out
I
for a
don't
while,
remember
man.
it. You ruined it.
It's been out for a while. But I mean,
I'm
honestly,
hurt.
it's forgetful. So, but the thing is, I was kind of hoping they would lead it back into the original Michael Bay movies and probably retcon everything that they did with Mark Wahlberg. But no, that was wishful thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought the first Transformers in 2007 was good. That was a quality film for me.
I'm
But
sorry.
that's
I
just
can't.
nostalgia.
I can't take any main protagonist with the last name Witwicky. I can't. I'm sorry.
I thought it was
That's
funny,
way
but
too
it was definitely like something you wouldn't forget. That's for sure.
So what we also could use, I'm sure, is some G1 Transformer games. Some more. I mean, what was the last one? Devastation, which was not bad, but we'll see. There's a new Transformers game coming out. I don't know how it's going to be though.
We're still waiting on
Reactivate?
Reactivate. Yeah, we haven't heard anything since 2 years ago when they dropped that teaser trailer. It's been
Right.
I think they're
I'm
keeping it
looking
hush
forward
hush
to it.
because of the leaks that came out showing how the gameplay or the Transformers work. Right? Remember there was those leaks that were blurred out using air quotes.
Yeah,
Don't
they
just
had
do my
a.
hand move. Yeah.
I think there was a recent screenshot too of Bumblebee, which it looked interesting. I hope it's a good game. I'm kind of riding also too much optimism on that game because I just want a good Transformers game, and hopefully that's it.
It would be good.
The
Yes.
studio behind them are a good safe bet, I would say, for me. Like they made Dirty Bomb 2, which is also a really fun game. So I hope it holds up. I don't know.
Well,
It's hard
as
to
far
judge on a
as
game.
far as like leaks, as far as what's some of the animation that has actually been dropped a while ago because they had already went into production for figures for it. So my buddy Vinny, he recently did a review of Bumblebee and Starscream from that.
From Reactivate?
Yeah, it looked pretty interesting. Like Starscream was like, it looked like they had to rebuild these guys. Like apparently the stories they find them and they're all like destroyed, so they rebuild the bots. So they've got all kinds of like swapped out color parts or like parts of different vehicles on it. And Bumblebee almost kind of looks like a cross between a Volkswagen and some kind of like a dune buggy vehicle. Pretty interesting concept.
Sounds pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I'm still waiting. Like, what they can really do it simply. Like, just do it like we've done with like Pearls in Time and everything else. Why haven't we got like just a normal Transformers side scroller beat 'em up? Just something like that.
That would be good.
Yeah.
We've had what, one strategy game at Transformers. I mean,
That
it
bombed.
bombed,
That
it did.
I hate to say it, did, but I was having fun with it. Battlegrounds.
You were the only one of 5. It was like
I
it was
probably
the
am.
Dustborn of Transformers game. Right.
I don't know. None of them, I think, will knock off the High Moon Studios ones that they did.
Was that the
War,
War on Cybertron? And
yeah,
I never
War
got
and
to play
Fall
those.
of Cybertron. Yeah, both of them were amazing.
I
They
really-
did have a third one slated, but it got all screwed up thanks to a claim.
Can you find them for PC? Because I can't find them anywhere. Because they're really
I'm not sure.
well, you can find them, but not exactly.
Thank you, Jolly Roger. Thank you.
We'll talk about that later, Stephen.
Yes,
but
let me get my eye patch and my peg leg, and we'll get on
That's
that.
right.
Yes,
You
yes,
got- that's
exactly
right, buddy.
That was a
That's
pirate
right.
joke for anyone who got that out there.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But no, there's supposed to be some thing where they were talking. He was on either on Game Pass or Steam that they're thinking about bringing these games back finally, which they should. Devastation, War on Cybertron, those ones. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it should, and I'm sure it would make money.
Devastation was too short. That's the problem with me. I went through that like in a day, and then you had the challenge rounds, and then there was nothing else really to do, and that kind of
Yeah,
upset me. because it was a good game. It was a very good nod to like Gen 1. They just didn't progress it. Like I was expecting some type of DLC or like more levels added, but you know, it's Transformers. You gotta take what you get. The Michael Bay games, though, I will never play.
I've never played them. I just don't have any desire to.
Oh, you talking about Transformers the game? Give it a try. It's pretty
No,
fun.
no.
All right.
No. All right. If I have
I mean,
to play
there's no
that,
convincing. There can't be any. There can't be a way to convince somebody who's already.
if
got
I
a
play
strong
that,
opinion.
if I play that,
you have to be open to new things.
All right, then you gotta go play Concord.
Hell no. I already seen the gameplay.
You
on
gotta
that.
be open-minded to new things.
Oh man.
You actually like that game? I hope not.
No, I played the beta. When I played the beta on stream, I even told my
Right,
chat,
at least you
this
got
game
some
is
brain.
dead on arrival.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, all right, let's try this. I mean, there's even people who are, of course, playing that Dustborn just to make fun of it. So I
Oh,
mean,
God.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
they bought
People
it
are
just
playing
to
Dust-
make fun of
yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah,
So not many though.
All my Transformers the game fans out there, I'm staying strong for you.
Here we go. I
know you
will
all
put.
cringe.
Yeah. There's 9 people playing Dustborn right now. Okay, there's 9. I got right here in the Steam charts.
Baron and I
There's
know
9.
actually somebody who bought the game to stream on his channel and then just to make fun of it.
Was that Dash?
No, there's somebody else. I don't know
Oh.
if you know him.
Yeah, there's been a few games like there was Devastation. I know there was.
Yes.
They had War for Cybertron, Dark of the Moon. They had more than one movie game. From my understanding, I think there was Dark of the Moon. There's Rise of the Dark Spark, the game, Transformers Universe, Devastation, Angry Birds. I didn't play that. There's Battlegrounds. Battlegrounds is the one that failed, right? That was the RTS.
Yeah, I remember like Spock was saying, I've watched him play that a little bit. Some of it's kind of fun. Yeah, it did fail. I do think
How
though
did it fail, though?
Transformers
What in terms of like player base? Because like, there's so
is it
many
the
of
player
those
based
games.
stuff? I don't know.
I
Yeah,
think it
so
was
many.
the player base.
it
I don't
seemed
really
okay.
judge player base as a way it fails because there's so many.
You were just
strategy games.
laughing with us about the 9 people playing Dustborn. Don't lie to us. You're still laughing now. Wait, that's Cash. My bad.
No, but no, yeah, I mean, if you have fun with it, what was it, like a $20 game? I think that was
Oh, I
Battlegrounds,
got it on sale for
or
10.
Oh, like that.
$10. Okay, well, you know, I just think that maybe with Transformers 1, it'll be more of a push to say,
It's not a
hey,
good game. Don't get me wrong. It sucks, but it's like it has its moments of being.
but
fun.
you had a little bit of fun with it, so you found
Yeah,
something.
no, I'm not. I don't regret it. It's like a $10 game. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I feel bad if it was like a $30 or $40 game because that definitely isn't worth it. Because like I was saying, there's so many strategy games. The player
Well,
base
you
is
know,
like,
and right, and
you
like
know, it can be
Devastation.
scattered.
Devastation had some bad camera angles from what I remember.
Yeah.
that was a problem. You got to fix that.
Still fun though. I don't know. Still
Yeah,
fun.
it still can be a fun game, sure.
All these games can be bad, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like a really bad game that I can say that for a franchise I'm biased on for Transformers would have to be the second game. I don't know. I know you guys said you haven't played any of the Michael Bay ones, but was Revenge of the Fallen. Because the first one was like arguably take it or leave it because there's a good like single player story in there, but the second one's just bad. And it's just the mechanics are all sloppy. And it was made for a PlayStation 2, of course, but I don't know, just hopefully it stays the way it was and I don't know, the way it was when Devastation, if they do plan on doing reactivate. If they did say it was gonna be like what first person, but there's no real confirmation.
Yeah, but again, we're not getting any viable news regarding
Right.
Reactivate. We're hearing all these other games that are involved
Yeah.
in the Transformers properties.
But I
but-
was just saying, I hope it stays
Yeah,
with that
and
style.
and if
Hopefully.
Transformers
'Cause, like,
1
it's fun.
is a big success, then it should push more of this stuff to come back.
I like
We
Mike.
should
I
get
like
more
watching
something
Mike
like
play.
Devastation. Yeah, go ahead.
What was it? Rise of the. I'm not too good with the names, but it was the other.
I played
PC
War for Cybertron, and I also
War for
played
Cybertron.
Fallen-
That was it. That was fun.
Fallen
I like the way
Cybertron,
that the game plays in that, and I hope it stays like that. just more
Yeah,
polished or
that
something.
was just me playing it off my PS5 because I
Goodbye, Apologies.
bought the remastered version.
Take care.
Yep.
And was playing it there.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming by, Apolomies. Really appreciate it. But that's how I was playing it. I connected it to my capture card and decided, you know what, I'm streaming this game. And I was surprised how many people came by and were going, oh yeah, I remember playing this game. This is a fun game. And I wish they didn't stop making these games. And
Yeah, exactly. It's just
2022, this was announced. We haven't heard any.
wow.
Yeah, it's been a while. I agree. I don't know.
No,
Hopefully.
and even this
Hopefully good there.
one channel I follow was saying, you know, they were hoping to hear something at the Summer Game Fest about Reactivate, and nothing.
Yeah, it's just like I said, maybe Transformers 1 will push people to say, hey, let's get some more. Even like a cool strategy game. Transformers could be set up to do that, you know, first person, whatever. But it just depends on the people who want to work on it and the passion they have. And, you know, are they willing to understand enough of the source material? Excuse me.
And I want to thank Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective for coming on to the panel. Really
Yes.
appreciate
Oh, he had to go?
you taking the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he did,
yeah, he had to go.
Yeah, good having for when we did though.
Yes.
Good seeing you again, Tommy.
Bye, Tommy.
Oh,
let me
I'm
go
gonna
ahead
have to
and
do the
get
same thing,
Tommy's
Mike.
links. All right, brother.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to pop
Yeah,
off
you-
you. So
Okay,
Thanks for having me.
you
All right,
you're
Bob.
there, Pop.
Okay,
everybody.
Mechanic.
Yeah, man. We'll
Okay,
talk,
bye,
Steven, Cash,
yeah,
Sarah, and all you guys.
we'll talk again
Like-
soon, Pop Culture. It's been a while, man.
Yeah,
Been
yeah,
nice meeting
Sounds like
you.
a
For sure, bro.
yeah, you too. Thanks,
Mhm.
guys.
sounds like a
See you
threat
around.
from you when you say that, Cash.
A threat.
Hold on.
No,
Talking
I'll
to
make a
you
threat to
later.
Pop Culture later. No, I won't.
He's gonna dress you up like Black Arachnia. Better beware.
Oh, this Black Arachnia thing. Come on, man.
Oh,
He's gonna silver wolf you.
You've got to watch Beast Wars.
I guess I got to.
Yeah, you
familiarize
did.
yourself
Don't
the
boost his
character.
ego. Yeah, don't boost his ego.
Mm.
Here's a hot take. The Robots in Disguise Transformers television cartoon, like the later one in 2014. I actually thought that was pretty good. Had a
Yeah,
pretty
you
decent
know,
story in there.
there's animation that cannot always be all that great, and then but if the
I just know
storylines
not
are
too many people
strong,
like it.
then you know that's still
It's whatever. Yeah, it's
good
like
thing.
you said. You're right. I think you would like it for some of the aspects. Like you watched Meta Runner, for crying out loud. That show, it's got some really funny moments. And I was telling Calamity, but like if you watch that, then you could probably watch this because it's got like family quality to it, where it's like father and son trying to make it, and then they stumble upon the Transformers. But it takes like a awkward approach sometimes. I won't lie. Like it's not perfect, but
it's not. Yeah,
Not bad
stuff
either.
like I don't know, Meta Runner isn't terrible. I'm not as excited about it as our friend there. But like I would watch it once and then be like, yeah, I don't think I want to watch this again. But it does have pretty good dialogue. I will say that. I won't say. it's-
yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It does.
Shane says Beast Wars had terrible animation, but it was on the edge of
Right.
CGI for its time, and
Mhm.
the stories were awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the animation evolved as the stories did too.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
we had examples of that. You had Voltron when they went 3D. That was pretty good. I mean, not the best. I know. The storylines
Well,
weren't too bad though.
Also,
Storyline-
when it came to Beast Wars, think about another series that Mainframe was working on at the time, and that was Reboot.
Was it Reboot as well? Who was working on Shadow Planets then, or Battle Planets?
I don't know.
No one knows what Battle Planets is, do I?
I'm sorry, I'm unfamiliar with it.
It's literally about there was planets around the solar system that were actually movable ships, and they were battle planets.
I'll have to look it up.
Sounds badass. I have to look that up too.
Yeah, me too.
Don't mind me. I'm just a baby.
I remember
You
some of
told
this
us
stuff.
all. I'm
I don't
not
remember too
old.
much.
What the fuck is that?
We're old fats. We're old.
No, you're
Like
old.
I said I saw the movie when I was 9. I thought I was gonna be made fun of for saying that.
No, we don't make fun of blueberries.
No. Not going to make fun of you, Spock.
To your
No,
face,
just-
we're not going to do it.
I'm
That's
just
for sure.
I'll make fun of Spock. Why
That's
not?
because you're
Yeah,
old and you sit on a rocking chair on your porch.
I wish I had a porch, but I do sit in a rocking chair.
So wait, you We just sit on the front lawn in the rocking chair.
No, I actually just sit in the yard. You're sitting there watching the dogs, yelling at the kids, "Get off my lawn!"
Watching a lot of Gran Torino.
Yeah.
I was playing a lot of Gran Torino, probably. Who from Uber am I going to order today to be Torino? Let me see. Mexican, it is. All right, let's give it wait for the driver to show up.
Well, I'm inspired by Cash because he goes out there and yells, "Get off my lawn" all the time in his town.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
For those that are wondering,
I
those
didn't-
was
I didn't mean it like that,
racism.
but
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's definitely like I'm definitely distant with a lot of Transformers stuff because I will
Except
admit
the
I'm not a
anime.
huge follower, but I do. It's a big part of my childhood, that's for sure. I play a lot
There's-
of the games.
Watch the Combiner
fun.
Wars, Armada, all that stuff. Look for the app. Go for the anime as well if you can.
Really? Okay.
Combiner Wars? That actually sounds familiar.
Yeah, you should. No one,
'Cause
no one
my,
really.
my buddy is really into Transformers as well, and he talks my ear off about it.
That was the Machinima series that
That-
was
that
released
was
in
2016.
2016.
Yeah, I have it here.
Yeah,
Combiner
yeah,
Wars.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
watched some of that. Okay.
I
Combiner
saw.
Wars.
I don't know how you guys feel about this show. I saw Transformers Prime was okay, but I'm not a huge fan of the 3D stuff personally.
No, not to, no. And what's the new one? Earthspark. No one's touching.
Earthspark.
That
I
one.
can't.
Yeah.
I just no.
I am a non-binary transformer, but my blood
Oh,
veins
boy,
are made.
it's-
I'm sorry.
It doesn't make any sense.
It does.
It doesn't.
Binary
That's the
in
whole
this-
thing. It just
Anyone-
doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Chat's asking if anyone remembers the '90s Starship Trooper series with horrible CGI. I think everyone tried to forget that.
I do.
I do.
I did
do.
forget
I
that
remember
one.
it. Roughnecks, I think. Was it Roughnecks or something that they call themselves? The show.
Yeah, Roughnecks or some
Yeah.
shit. Yeah. But I would love to see them do a crossover of Captain Power and Transformers and like kind of branch out to the older '80s with the Transformers from the '80s. That would have been cool.
That could work actually. Yeah. Mhm.
No one
Hey,
remembers Captain
JMS
Power.
was more than happy to offer
I
people
do.
Captain Power.
I had the Captain Power jet with the VHS that you put in the VCR and you shoot at the TV screen.
At the intro screen and the outro screen.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
I had that as a kid.
And he plays it after every plays with it after every pop talk. He's like, "Okay, guys, I'm gonna go and play some Captain Power."
I wish I still had it.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Baron comes from the age of Betamax, not VHS, so he can't play Captain Power. That's why he's upset.
Oh no. Actually, I had VHS. My girlfriend at the time and her family had the beta. I laughed at them. That's probably why she broke up with me.
Yes, that's it.
Well, and other things.
I'm just agreeing with you. I'm not trying to guilt you.
Oh no, you're not guilting me. But she finally discovered taste and realized, yeah, I can do better.
Ronnie says, I watched Roughnecks and enjoyed what I saw. Was that after Battletech? Because Battletech tried to use the 3D animation just for their mech fights to a degree. We're getting off subject. Back to Transformers.
Yes.
Well, I was going to say, one of the things that you're into, Steven, and I'm into
I
it
told
as
you not
well,
to tell
and
me one about that.
I'm going to tell
I get it. It's hard not to.
And-
Yeah, it's my jargon's hour.
and Spock's into his music, and even Transformers, especially in G1, had good music.
Oh yeah, of
It
course.
did. It did.
I saw G1 later, of course, but then I definitely agree. It's really good music, and most of them do. I don't know about the new ones on Netflix or when you were talking about Earthsparks or whatever. I haven't seen any of the most recent
it's-
stuff, but
It's called Transformers Earthshard.
Earthshard.
Earthshard, yes.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, they
Because when
they
you're watching
usually
it,
have
you're
good music.
screaming, what is this shark?
Brown Stripe, transform, and
Yeah.
Brown out.
So you guys would recommend all the Beast era then? I'm
Yeah,
looking
I
at-
would recommend Beast Wars, Beast Machines if
would.
you have brain cells left.
Beast Machines, if you have patience.
So
It is
Beast Wars,
so
Neo, and
boring.
okay.
It is
Beast
so
Wars
boring,
2.
and they only have 3 types of enemies that are literally idiots. I can't. You know what I mean? Like with Beast Wars, you literally have like Maximals versus Decepticons, or Autobots versus whatever you want to freaking call it. When it gets to Beast Machines, it's Mother Nature versus the man. And I can't. That's what it is. Watch me.
Yeah,
but we had a tree that talked. I couldn't. No. I have a spark and I'm a tree. I'm out.
We have to care for the environment.
Oh my God, it's a robotic
Cybertron needs to go
planet.
organic.
They need to go
Here
organic.
comes Captain Power.
The only thing that went organic in
Sorry, I'm
Beast
not saying
Machines
Captain Planet.
was Arachnia and Silverbolt.
Yeah, Captain Planet. That's who you're thinking of.
Yeah. And also for free on Pluto TV is they stream 24/7 Transformers. Yeah, they do, Wolby. You could have said that in my chat, you traitor.
They're turning on you, Fats. They're turning.
They're not turning on me. They just don't care.
Well, or what are you saying? Are they true Decepticons?
I think they're only Yes, they're all Decepticons. Yes, they'll. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I played this earlier, so I'm gonna go ahead and play it again.
Burger King foot lettuce.
No, not that, Steven.
We are indestructible! Power to the Decepticons forever!
Yeah, I'm just gonna sum up.
You lose!
Oh wait, that's the wrong button. My bad.
I'm not a retarded. Now, isn't that just prime?
Yeah, Don Cheeto's Captain Planet was the most hilarious web series for 90s television.
Yeah, it was. It was. It was. And, speaking of something that's hilarious, or some might find it hilarious, some might find their skits stupid, but even Robot Chicken did their Transformers.
They did.
What do you guys
Oh,
think of
when
those?
Optimus Prime had prostate cancer or whatever, right? Yeah.
The oil
Wasn't that one of them?
leak, right?
Yeah.
Or the parody they had of when Megatron got his gender changed.
Yeah, I've watched that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's an actual reality. That's the sad part.
Yeah, that is the sad part.
Yes.
I believe smart.
But I do have a question for all of you.
Okay.
And that's where do you see the Transformers franchise going in the future? It's a serious question.
I am being serious. I'm laughing. I'm waiting for someone else to answer. I'm going to sit in the back. See, look, my guy got real small.
For live action or for in
Everything.
general?
All of it.
Okay. I don't know about
Yeah.
cartoon yet, but I would say that maybe the live action might bomb. Animated's gonna succeed. Don't know how, but live action is just gonna go towards G.I. Joe Transformers. Whether that be good or bad, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be that entertaining like everyone thinks it's gonna be. Some things are better in the comics. That's how I see it. But
Okay. How are the
But yeah,
comics
that's-
doing, by the way?
The newer
supposedly-
comics, from what I've heard, they're doing well.
So IDW is right?
It's not even under IDW anymore. It's under a different company.
Oh,
I mean,
that's probably why.
Yeah, IDW is running into some problems recently. I saw
Is
that.
it like trying to stay awake while getting variant covers out? Is that it? Do they have like 40 variant covers for an Archie comic?
Their sales aren't going too well from what I was reading recently.
Well,
I wonder why.
probably better than Marvel. Is that because of Heather Antos? No, wait, Heather Antos isn't IDW, is she?
I'm not sure.
I hope not. Can't hear the snoring. Awkward silence.
Way to
Archie
I'm always
is
awkward.
dead.
I'm always awkward.
We sit here in silence trying to think about something about Transformers that we were hopeful for that we didn't cover an hour and a half ago.
Okay, well, did you guys? I'm so since I was late. Did you guys talk about Transformers 1 already?
It was good.
Steven said he liked it a lot, so we'll see how it does at the box office.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But real
don't-
quick,
don't ask how I watched it.
The new company that's doing the comics, Steven, is Image Comics.
Oh, Image is doing Transformers, and there's hope yet.
Yeah.
Image does Wildcats. Right? I'm talking foreign languages. I'm going to go back to my map.
I mean, it's good that it's gone to somebody else, and someone would probably do a far better job.
Yeah, if they care enough.
But Baron, where do you see the Transformers franchise going in the future?
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know. I think we kind of talked about the other day there, especially with this movie coming out. I would like, I mean, there's a difference between what I'd like to see and what could be. And with this new movie coming out, and they're talking about a sequel, which nothing new there. I would like to have it come back to television. In fact, I did watch that. That I don't know if you want to call it the origin story of Optimus Prime today, when he was Omega Pax, and and then it's like, okay, it's going to be interesting how they're going to just transcribe that onto this other film that they have coming out there, the possibilities. But it should be a stepping stone, I think, to another series. That's where I think Transformers shines the best, is when you have a weekly series. So I'm hoping that's what we're going to see, and that they're actually going to care about, get rid of these damn pronouns and non-binary robots again. 101010.
Well, it doesn't make any sense, man, and they just do it because it's some nonsense. I mean,
Yeah, you don't throw a 2 in with the 101010. You put a 2 in there and everything crashes.
They're freaking robots, man.
Yes,
but
they're in disguise. They can disguise themselves.
That's right.
As a Webster's dictionary.
Yeah.
That was pretty smart.
Excuse me, whip this up. No.
That was my favorite argument, though, because I've even had that with video games with transformation potions. They literally have the 5 letters in the word. Of course, it means they are. I'm like, that word has been around before you were born.
Yes, and it's not meaning what you guys think it's supposed to mean. So
Are you
it's
saying
all right.
every time I hop on a public transportation, it means the bus is completely no.
So the electrical box on my pole outside the house, that's
right.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like some.
Got it.
Hey.
Yeah, it's just
Yes.
You're wrong.
something
You're
better.
Wrong. Chat had an answer.
Going in a better direction than Earth Spark is always something good.
Yoron says, future of Transformers, go all in on Shia LaBeouf. The Decepticons will not divide us. Shia now able to trans into strong black woman. Must save the world from Trumpticon.
You said it right. Wrong. It's whamming. Whamming.
I want to hit him for some reason because that hurt my brain. I just want to hit him. More than meets the. Oh, stop. Autobots transform and complain. Sorry.
Do Transformers have blue hair?
Some of them do. Autobots roll marijuana. You gotta be high to watch this shit.
Is that true, Spock?
Imagine being the only Transformer that transformed into a shake weight.
Oh, God.
Shake weight.
It's technically Rumble did it, but it was only his arms.
That's
extinction to all traitors.
That's not a shake weight.
No, it's just Megatron shooting Starscream, his whipping boy.
Picturing it right now. How the fuck does he get around? Jakes, are you my bet again? Where's my chicken? What? Oh, my face.
Stop.
I'm never coming back here again. You know that already.
Oh, come on. You've said that before and you've come back.
That's only because you paid me in popcorn.
I know your weakness.
Popcorn's good.
Popcorn was bad, dude.
Corn Pop.
I don't
Corn
give a
Pop's a bad
hey,
dude.
hey, don't correct my Canadian linguese.
Sorry. I didn't mean to correct you, but
That's right. You fucking
Be
care.
nice to our guest.
No, you don't have to.
why?
No, I'm lulling you
That-
into a
that
false
means-
sense of security before we do attack.
Did he say he's lollying me? What the hell?
I don't know.
Lulling.
He speaks Minnesotan. I don't understand Minnesota.
Oh yeah, don't you know?
Yo, Baron just wants to lolly me, man. That's weird.
I'm not lollying you, that's for sure.
Wow, this topic.
Hey, I think it's a good time to go to another commercial break.
Transformers 40 Years of Robots in Disguise will return after these messages.
Megatron, terrorize! Optimus, maximize! Gigantic Gorilla Optimus Primal, the biggest stage in transformation, transforms with double cannons firing. Megatron, terrorize! The evil towering T-Rex transforms from prehistoric to robotic with pulverizing claw and twin missile launchers. The biggest stage in transformation. Each sold separately.
よみがえれ超ロボットたち君が選ぶ君のヒーロー戦え超ロボット生命体トランスフォーマー
We now return to Transformers 40 Years of Robots in Disguise.
Why does he want to lolly me though? That's so weird.
I remember that last commercial. I said lulling, making you go to
He
sleep.
keeps
Never
saying
mind.
it. What the?
Never mind. Never mind.
Old people
Ah.
in there lolly. What the hell?
Lolly, lolly, lolly.
That was
Get
awesome.
that verb
I
here.
tell you,
Lolly,
I tell
lolly,
you,
lolly.
Steven,
Your
these
adverb here.
these Minnesotans they speak strangely.
Oh, so they're like Georgians.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, don't you know?
What?
They say we talk funny up here, don't
No,
you
we're here
know?
for Transformers, not Bobby's World.
That Bobby's World's more. It's more Life with Louie. Louie.
Oh god.
Rest his soul.
Yeah. But have you guys read any of the
Books?
Transformers comics, whether they've been the Marvel, IDW, Dream?
No.
Seen a little bit, but not
They
really.
hang on my wall. I haven't opened them. They're the
I
old
regret
ones.
not. I regret not.
Sadly, no of. I would say.
I was getting collecting so many comics at the time. I had to stop somewheres, and I never got the GI Joes. I never got the Transformers, and now of course it's like I wish I did.
Yeah, I had a few as a kid, but unfortunately, when we had a flood, I lost the comics and I lost a few other things related to Transformers.
Well, hopefully sometime you can get those back if you want.
That's sorry. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. But from what I remember reading some of their early comics, they were pretty good. I didn't quite understand at the time why it deviated from the cartoon series, but then learning later on that the Marvel comic side and the Sunbow side weren't exactly communicating with each other as to how things were supposed to be, like Tommy alluded to earlier. And yeah, but they had some good stories, and at least in the comics, they actually made Rodimus a respectable leader instead of the whiny leader that he was in the cartoon.
I think that's kind of one thing that kind of kept me away from doing the comic books because they were different, and I wasn't that sophisticated back then to comprehend that or appreciate that. I mean, I'll be the first.
The main crew, like the main Autobots, were different.
Well, basically, the way they portrayed some of the characters was different than how they were portrayed in the animated series. Some characters that are heavily featured in the animated series were made background characters in the comics. they might have an issue here or there that actually feature them, but there were stories where they were relegated to background characters. There's one story where Starscream becomes this overpowered being, and a lot of the characters that you know from G1, especially in the animated series, are killed off. And this is even before the movie.
Yeah.
Was there an intention to bring in a new set of characters? Was that the plan, or would they just kill them off?
It was trying to get all the different characters in there, and some characters just fit better for one story than another. And
Right.
it was also dependent on which characters were more popular in the comics.
I'm
Because
sure,
even-
like like even for me, change hits tough with like all the because I like DC, so I know
Mhm.
what you mean with like a lot of different types of iterations, and it can kind of get annoying, especially if you're so used to how something is supposed to be told, or it just gets shifted to a background character or an off-screen death. Those suck. So it's like, yeah, I don't know, because in Transformers' case, they don't have that excuse for what multiple universes, right? And it's probably better they don't.
Yeah, but Hasbro did try to do an aligned continuity where everything lined up together, but they even failed in that. But getting back to the comics, even some of the US comic releases were different than what they got in the UK. Some of the UK stories even deviated from what their US counterparts were doing. So it was basically a period of time where not one particular part of Marvel, whether it be in the US or UK, were communicating with each other, and they branched off. And let's see.
We got a
We
whole
had-
bunch of weird shit.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
Zork Player 1, good to see you. I found
Would you
there's
say-
no
would you say
consistency
that-
with
Voltron was my
Transformers.
shit.
Nothing wrong with Voltron.
No, Shane says Transformers was my shit as Voltron was my shit. And then he goes, it's Steven Seagal Avatar. It's got him hot and bothered. What are you? What?
Huh?
What?
I'm reading my chat. I don't know what's going on here.
Come on, man.
You notice how my eyes are rolling to the back of my head on my V2 model? That's pretty much how I feel right now. I got my mom. I don't need weirdos.
How long though would you say that weird shit of Transformers has lasted for till now? Would you say, or it's already like we've gotten some good stuff since then?
We've got some good stuff, but they still like to throw in some of the weird stuff like the non-binary transformer and
Of course.
You'd have a more sane lore if you just Googled Transformer hentai and you'd be fine. Like, it would have better stories told in general.
So then what if this like Transformers 1 movie is a big success at the box office? Does
It
that
should
mean
be.
we would want does that mean that we would want a series of that on TV with that same animation?
I don't know if they could do that, but why not just get a nice anime studio to redo Gen 1 for not modern audiences, but in a modern age?
That would be great.
Yeah.
I would be cool with
That'd
that.
be awesome. You have all the templates. Let's do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
More
they
than
still have all the
me.
Florodary character models available to them, and
They underestimate their modern, or not underestimate, they overestimate their modern audience too much. for what
No,
they
because the
think
modern
they know.
audience is screaming, "We don't want this shit." Well, the 1% of the non-modern audience is like, "You're so brave. You're so healthy. You're not mentally disowned in any way. Where's my fish? Seal setting up." Like that comedian. Here's your sign.
apparently they're trying to get a Voltron movie going. Whether we actually see it, that's another thing.
If they want movies like that to be handled, I think the same studio that did Fallout should handle shit like that.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean,
Imagine Kevin Smith's Transformers. Just
come
like Kevin
on.
Smith's He-Man.
Oh, hell no.
There you
yeah,
go. There you go. That's the problem with modern audiences.
No,
That,
no.
Would you like to see a grown man cry while telling you about another man with muscles that doesn't cry? Give me about 5 minutes. Where's my banjo?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm being a little obtuse.
No, it's all right, man.
Peace, love, unity, respect, y'all.
It's the same thing. Would we want like Seth Rogen to touch Transformers? No.
No, he
you
touched
know?
Ninja Turtles and turned April
That's
into
it.
a fat
No.
bloke.
He did.
Sorry, a fat black bloke.
Just like if you call yourself a super fan, then you wouldn't do some of these things. man.
Angry
Come on.
O'Neill. Angry O'Neill. Went from a lovely, tall, thin, ginger lady. to
what
yellow jumpsuit.
would the modern version of Chip be? I guess. Pay attention to me now.
Bumblebee will no longer be a Volkswagen Beetle. He'll be an espresso
Right.
machine.
Espresso machine. I like that. Yeah.
We're going to sit down and talk about her feelings.
Yep.
Bumblebee, put 2 up there on the table for us. Thank you.
It's
I
just so.
will never discuss my
listening.
feelings with you, Prime.
My name is Optimal Opinion Prime.
But it was funny what that YouTube did with Megatron. You're misgendering me. You're misgendering.
Megatron, you can't hit a lady.
Quit objectifying me, Starscream.
Oh, this is great. So
Fucking
funny.
Clown world.
Yep.
It is. It is.
Now, someone in the chat, give Mike some money because he has to deal with us and no one's paying him.
Yeah, I gotta get my 2 cents this month. I haven't gotten paid yet for this month's work.
You're supposed to get paid?
Yeah, I get 2 cents a month. Fran Drescher helped negotiate that deal back when the strike was going on. So,
what strike was that for YouTube?
Yeah,
Bear lives in his own world,
oh, that's
so
right. You're
you
Canadian.
know that.
You're not part of the union.
I know who Fran Drescher is. I don't know anything about the YouTubers getting 2%.
No, 2 cents. 2 cents. I get paid 2 cents. It was it's Fran Drescher represented me in my negotiations with Mike because we had a little standstill, and he caved in, and I'm getting 2 cents. I was asking for a nickel, but we negotiated to 2 cents a month.
Is why I
Too bad.
Pretty generous.
Yeah, very generous.
What about the version of the Munsters that came out a couple? Was it Munsters? I thought it was the Addams Family.
Yeah, with 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Is
No.
that what you're talking about?
Are you talking about the Rob Zombie
Is
one?
that the Rob Zombie one? Yeah.
Oh, Rob Zombie.
That's come out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Been and
Yeah,
gone.
was it?
Been and gone.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I know Fran Drescher. Yes, I love the nanny. Mr. Sheffield.
Well, I mean, she's the head of the actors union now.
I don't care about that. She was the nanny. That's the last time she was relevant. And that one movie where she was playing the beautician and the beast. Remember that movie?
Well, and also UHF. Don't forget UHF.
I didn't watch UHF.
You never seen UHF?
No.
Wow. UHF.
I haven't seen The Godfather either. You gonna cost me for that one too?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You've never
No.
seen UHF. You never seen The Godfather.
No. Because I have taste.
But I bet you
Well-
saw the great Canadian classic Porky's though.
Nope.
Oh, come on, that's the ultimate Canadian film. That was
No,
the one that
no,
was topping your,
yeah. Just like Trailer Park Boys is the ultimate Canadian series. You know what? No.
That's damn right.
Who jumped in with that one? Was that Spock?
I think it was Spock.
Yes, that
Spock,
was Spock.
Spock, go back to your corner. No one asked you. And Beetlejuice 2 wasn't even that good either. We're getting off subject. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put a toothbrush on my mouth now.
Rewind.
Hello there.
Us getting off topic here on Pop Talk? No, never.
No. I was into anime in America even back as early as then. I don't think Transformers was anime though. The Gen 1 wasn't anime. That's been an argument forever, but it's not anime, right? Because it was
No,
American.
it's not because it was done by an American production company, and
yeah,
wasn't like the later series that were exclusively done in Japan.
I'd say
That
the same argument
are
with these
anime.
cartoons.
Godfather's good. What are you talking about? Well, I can't say it's good or bad. I've never watched it.
Just never felt the feeling to watch
No,
it.
same with most of the Rocky films. Never felt an urge to watch them.
Okay. I get that.
You're culturally deprived. No, I have all the Star Wars films. I'm good. Thank you.
And Last Jedi is his favorite too.
No, no. We're not talking about what you do for your masochist nights. At all.
Well,
I've watched Last Jedi once. I've never watched Rise of Skywalker, and I refuse to watch anything ever.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Long Suffering Night do have our bad movie night usually, but none of those films are going to be part of it. I saw Last Jedi once, and that's it.
The last movie I went to a theater was Force Awakens, and I still have the Stormtrooper 3D glasses.
That's
I'm
pretty cool.
supposed to return them, but
You forgot.
no,
It's
I
like,
stole them.
"Ooh."
I
It's
just
like,
stole. I
"Oops."
didn't forget. I fucking stole them. Who's clicking like a mofo?
It's
I don't know.
Baron. It's
I am.
It's Baron. It's probably Baron.
Dude, it doesn't matter how fast you click, the bit rate for the naked picture still comes out at the same speed.
It does? Oh,
Like
I'll
that.
slow down then.
It's like dial-up. Good face, hell
I'll
yeah!
do
Oh,
better
nice
next time.
titties. Oh, penis. I'm out. No.
Yeah. Titties, boobies. Yeah, you're right. And once the Winsky comes, okay, down goes the screen. I ain't gonna
You
see
said
that.
Monica Lewinsky comes? What?
No, what?
As soon as Monica Lewinsky comes, I run.
That's what he just said something about Monica Lewinsky.
I'm gonna come.
Whoa, hello.
Whoa! What the?
What was that?
Doesn't sound
I
like
didn't do that.
Every time Xanamir pops in the voice channel.
I'm gonna come.
Oh my god. That's supposed to be Trump too.
Allegedly. What was the other thing that popped up? What was so loud? I didn't hear it. What voice channel?
No, that first one you played, there's a certain somebody, me and Cash know, that pop into a voice channel here and there with that sound effect. That one too.
Does he swim in the ocean?
No.
Kind of
Not that we know.
I didn't know what you
Are
were
we,
about.
are we shit talking someone that we're not supposed to shit talk?
Oh gosh.
You can
I
hear-
I don't
you can hear
know where
Mike cringing right now, so I
I
definitely
don't know
made it out.
where they're taking this. I don't know.
Weird.
I don't either. That's why I'm asking questions.
Are
Inquiring
you
minds
doing?
need to
Are
know.
you doing drama?
Baron's
I
all about drama.
I'm not drama. How did I get brought into this?
It's all Baron's fault.
It's Baron's fault.
It's always your fault, Baron. You know that.
Because you're white.
Wow.
Where's my
I'm
reparation?
innocent.
If there's one thing you're never, that's innocent.
Yeah, I am. I mean, the times when you kick Cash off instead of me, that's when I'm usually innocent. I'm usually behaving.
Right. Well, I'm not going to kick anybody off tonight.
What did I do?
No. I have a stick with Baron and Cash
Want a
where
list?
they say something, and I figure, regardless of what they say, I'll kick them.
Okay,
I
so-
do it during the show.
Then we remove Mike sometimes too, so it's funny.
Wow, that sounds like a Hello Kitty orgy. That's great.
What?
What?
Well, better than the live action Sailor Moon one. Yeah.
Oh.
Now we know why Baron's not on camera.
Because I'm ugly.
What's your guy's favorite Transformer? Soundwave. Hey guys, look at the
Soundwave
chat.
is a great
Freaking
show.
awesome. Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
I wasn't shitting anyone that's watched The Godfather. I've just never seen it. Jesus.
We are looking at the chat.
What chat?
I have no eyeballs.
When you see me bringing up the chat, I'm looking at it.
Is that his selfie or is that from a TV show?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I've never seen Zork player before.
That's like
No.
That's like Baron if he was a midget.
Hey, whoa. I am a midget.
No, you're not.
Well, maybe mentally.
According to those pictures Cash had.
Whoa, Cash.
What?
Whoa. Okay.
I don't even know what are you talking about?
All right.
I
Let's
agree.
get back on
Why are you
topic.
writing? Why are you putting racist
Let's
comments?
get back on topic.
Let's
What
get
are you
back on
doing?
topic. Where are you going with that?
Stay
stuff?
on target.
Anyway, yeah,
Stay on target.
What did I get into? I don't know what I want to do.
I don't know
I
what
don't-
they're doing with the show.
I
gotta
got
bring it
5
back
more
on.
minutes, and then I gotta go because it's getting awkward. as
Okay,
shit.
all right. Yeah, it is. You're right about that, Steven. It
I got
is
back
getting
of
I
a
don't know
Volkswagen.
where those things were going, but
I
anyways.
Hey, I'm innocent. I didn't do anything
Uh-huh.
this time.
Today,
right?
Today, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying, yeah. I'm not going to say it in the future.
again.
I'm always trouble.
For those that are just tuning in, I'm still agreeing with you. What the fuck?
Oh boy. So, with Transformers celebrating 40 years, we've seen a lot of good, we've seen a lot of bad, and we've seen some mediocre. But overall, when it comes to Transformers, I'll always gravitate back to Generation 1 because that's
Hell
where
yeah.
it started.
That's right.
With the GoBots.
Oh yeah. Without the GoBots,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think I'd be into Transformers. But I
One led to
think
the other.
I think now's a good time to go ahead and end the stream.
Before I get arrested.
Yeah, we can't have Steven get arrested again.
I'm not going to get arrested.
The Mounties are outside your window right now.
Like
Yeah,
one
the
of those
21st
memes
floor.
where it's
Yeah.
like the
Yeah,
FBI
yeah,
finds your group chat and
Yeah. Baron, the Mounties have grown wings and they fly up to the 21st floor. You have found me out. The Mounties are literally outside the door right now. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I heard.
Sarcasm, bro. Sarcasm.
give him a high five.
I'll give him a
All right.
finger.
But Steven, I want to thank you for coming on tonight, Spock. Thank you very much. Of course,
Yeah,
Loki
I'm
was
gonna
here
come.
earlier.
Whoa! Hey.
What?
Okay.
And Loki was here earlier. Tommy was here earlier. Pop Culture Mechanic was here earlier. I want to thank them as well. And thank you to everybody who's watching on YouTube and Rumble.
And
Gotta start
Pornhub.
with YouTube. No, Steven.
Yes, I'm streaming to Pornhub.
No, you're not. Come on.
Jay.
Very, very funny.
Well,
But I want to thank
I'm streaming to X Hamster, but that's beside the point.
No.
Right.
And on that note,
he's fucking old.
Yeah, well, I
should
can't
do
hear
that.
you. My hearing's about gone. Let me
Mike,
grab
you
my-
should recite the ending of Transformers 1.
Oh boy. But thank you to Jays for the member chat. Thank you very much. Of course, Baron also sent a member chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Leia
much.
Rose. Phil
Thank you so
McCracken.
much. Sorry.
Shum, thank you very much.
Thank you so
Wolverine.
much. Yes, you are great. Thank you.
Oh boy.
He's a traitor,
Whoa.
part of the Rebel Alliance. No, thank you.
thank you, Wolfie. Don't listen to Steven. Don't listen to
Not
Steven. Thank you
Steven.
very
My name
much.
is Baron Ormantag.
Well,
See, you gave me into
quite a-
trouble. Tell you that.
quite a turn of events there for sure.
Tommy, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you so
Really
much.
appreciate it.
Everybody wants to be me.
I put something in the private chat for you guys.
Cabot Kisser, thank you very much. I'll check it out here in a little bit.
It's my OnlyFans.
DJ Ronnie G. Oh boy.
Holy cow! What the hell?
FKHC 2005, also known as Tim.
Him.
Solonic, thank you very much. And thank you for following the Rumble channel. Really appreciate it.
Hey, Scott.
Awesome.
You're awesome.
Pat Wannabe, thank you very much.
What does it want to be?
Bone. Tripping Orc.
Traitor of the Rebel Alliance and shit.
Anonymous, who will be our guest this Sunday on Pop Talk.
I'm so sorry.
Awesome. Yep.
Also,
Anonymous.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
And I also want to thank Zork Player One.
Thank
And I
you.
also want to acknowledge this real quick because Anonymous just sent it. So I'll play this for it.
One shall stand, one shall fall. Why throw away your life so recklessly?
Guys, I am Steven.
Stevatron.
No, not Stevatron.
Stevatron?
I'm gonna smack you with my broom.
And Anonymous with a member chat says, it's a member chat. Member?
I remember.
Remember? I remember.
You member? Pepper's fine.
I
Members.
remember. I remember.
But
God, this is the longest outro ever.
No, they go longer.
Usually I'm trying to get the outro done, and Cash and Baird keep prolonging it.
Like
Yeah, it's
cancer.
our fault. It's our fault, sure.
Always, yeah.
Mhm.
But I also want to thank Apollome's Minion over there on the Rumble side, and also the Pat
Hey.
Wannabe for stopping over on the Rumble side as well.
Rumble, rumble, rumble.
Gentlemen, if you want to promote
Rumble.
yourself right now, go ahead.
No.
He's
Watch
Fat
everybody
Steven.
else
He's
except
trouble.
me.
There, I promoted him.
That's it. Yep.
I'm gonna drop links in Mike's chat, even though it won't work.
I'll make you a mod, and then it will work.
I thought he was.
No, I'm not. I don't need to be a mod. No, I don't need that. Denied.
Well, if you want to put him in the private chat, I can put him in the regular chat.
All right, so this is to my OnlyFans, and this is my Pornhub link. Shut up and stop giggling, all of you. You're fucking children.
I'm not laughing. He's serious.
Yeah.
He's
He's not though. That's the thing.
All right, Scoob.
Like zoinks.
Actually, I knew someone who did laugh like that for real.
How you doing, Scott? Oh God, that was a large part. Oh wait, my mic's on.
Whoa!
Like what the fuck?
Good to see you, Scott.
I think I burned a hole through my mattress.
Gosh.
I was like,
So
burnt,
does anybody want to promote themselves?
I was like burnt cotton.
Follow me every day, Pacific 414, where you'll see us talking on Pop Talk.
Yeah.
With our fellow cast, Baron.
Yeah.
And Mooney.
Yeah, follow. Subscribe.
Follow us.
Talking a monotone voice. Looking through things.
Please like us. We need friends. Please like us.
Another long day. Hey, Willie. Thank you for coming out and playing the game, guys. It's been lovely having you here. Follow us on Rumble and
Rumble and YouTube.
Rumble.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Was I allowed to swear on this stream?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
yeah.
You don't have to ask anymore, Steven. You know you
Steven.
can.
Hey, can
No,
I?
the
Are you
Bernie
sure?
Nazis.
What?
Aw, snap. All right.
Can I curse on here? Yes, Steven. It's fine. Come on, really? I can? Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Steven,
I would like to
sure.
drop 5 N-bombs for each one of my crew on the panel right now.
Wait a minute.
No, hold on.
That's not good, Ed.
So
That's
swearing's
not-
okay, but racial slurs is drawing a line? What happened to this free speech
That's-
platform?
I know. Mike's no fun.
I've been told that.
Don't be so negative.
Come on. Promote yourselves. Come on.
They want out of here. That's why they're muted.
Yeah.
Doc,
No,
go
I just
sleep.
have feedback. And they
Yeah.
should hear echo.
Yes,
Well,
go
okay,
ahead.
fine.
Go ahead.
Of course, needless
go
to say,
ahead.
you'll
Wow.
yeah, I'll go. What the hell? No one else is doing it. I'll step up to bat.
I
Folks.
have myself
Of course, tomorrow at the Jace Fox's 540 Studios. I'm sure I said that the other night. but
I'll
I
be
didn't
honest
like
with
it.
you.
I'll take your
I'm
word for
retarded.
it. I am. You will find, of course, Cash, Monet, and myself for the Beyond with Jace Fox. Hopefully, Prismatics will be showing us, and Whoopa Troopa, Kilted Cajun. Let's see who else. Hashi, and of course, like I said, Cash and I. That is between 6 and 6:30 Central Standard Time. You never know when it's going to begin. Please be there. Cash and I also have ourselves a little show going on Rumble only, and that is at 10 o'clock Central, 8 Pacific, and that's Cranky Old Fans. Please join us every Tuesday over there at Cash Money Madness, his channel that he has over there, and listen to what two old cranky guys have to say, or at least one cranky guy and one guy who's creeping that way, but you know what grinds my gear comes out of his mouth quite a bit. Other than that, I'll be hanging out with these Hunyucks that I'm usually and having a boatload of fun. I was told
That's a huge bitch.
You got it. I am.
Yep.
Oh, you're talking about something else? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
And then over on the Phantom Hooligans, because Baron covered the Rumble stuff. Friday, Spock, me, Baron, and Mike will all be playing STO again. So we'll actually have a full group this time. So, yeah.
You're playing Star Trek Online?
Yes.
Yes, yes, we are.
Yeah. And so that'll be.
Cash hasn't really played it all that much, so.
No, I haven't. So we decided to start doing rotation streams on the multiplayer Fridays at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube and Twitch, because I started dual streaming that recently. Yep. So we got that, and that'll be a special stream on Friday. So stay tuned to that. Yeah, exactly.
Who the hell did that?
You did, Steven. Come
That
on,
was not me. I don't burp.
No.
That
Sure,
was mouse.
Steven.
Mouse burped.
Sure, Steven.
Sorry, that was me.
Hey, yeah, it wasn't. I told you it wasn't me.
I don't know.
Cash, when did you turn to my mom?
I'm taking the fall this time.
I didn't. That sounds scary.
And I want to say hello to Arwen. Good to see you, Arwen.
Hey, Arwen.
Got a little
Always good
project
to see
this
Arwen.
coming weekend.
Where?
Probably this Friday or Saturday. I'm not sure when, but I got a little art project I'm working on, and it's requested by a couple of friends, and it's based off of the last video I did, which was TNG, but created by Ridley Scott. But this time I'm putting a little bit more work into it. So this is going to
Nice.
be Star Trek Voyager, but created, or you could say drawn by Bruce Timm. So it's going to be a lot of cool little shots of what that would possibly look like.
Cool. Fuck, I have a question. When are you gonna do Baron on the couch from that scene in Titanic?
Oh, hell no.
You're the wrong.
That's not even worth
I'm the
talking
wrong guy
about.
to be giving ideas to.
I
I'm
like the
wrong
dramatic pause from all of y'all picturing it first before you went.
That's
That's what
Steven.
an artist.
I
does.
yell enough. I scream enough in terror when I see myself in the mirror in the morning. We don't need that.
All right, don't do Baron. Do Mr. Data.
Look out for Baron's.
Do Cash with that magnificent chin of his.
That chin will destroy all people someday.
Cash had some pretty
Yep.
cool AI photos of Baron getting chased by monsters. That was pretty fun.
Were they?
Who said those were AI?
They looked
All right.
AI.
Hello, Alan. All right.
I didn't know those were real.
Well, I just feel bad for Baron. He was so sad about the Acolyte ending and not getting the season 2. So.
Holy
happy
shit!
to hear
This
that,
this
Baron.
outro
I
is
know.
going on 10 minutes. This is fantastic.
Okay. All right.
Well, yeah. Welcome to the show.
Hey, listen.
I don't even have the 3 hour later thing to put on here.
Tune in tomorrow when you get to see the first 2 episodes of It's Baron All Along. The
Somehow
gayest
I turned-
show from Disney Plus.
Wow! I somehow I turned into the punching bag when I didn't even do anything this time. I tell you.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'll be.
You're not sorry.
No, I'm not.
Don't lie to me.
I'm a VTuber. I have no feelings. What are you talking about? I'm just a.
Yeah, that's just it. Yeah,
But real quick, just to let everybody know, tomorrow on both the Rumble channel and YouTube channel, I'm gonna play Lollipop Chainsaw again, but this time in
With my
repop
pants off.
mode. This time in repop mode and on hard difficulty.
Hard. Ladies, did you hear that? Hard difficult.
Oh God, crazy!
I knew somebody would do that. I knew it.
I'm gonna play the repop mode on hard, and you guys are gonna like it.
Steven, are you okay there, man? Are you okay, buddy?
I am perfect.
This is
Ash, you don't drop by
this
my
is something
stream.
I expected.
Cash, you don't come to my streams on Rumble, so you don't know how I run my 10-hour streams.
Well, yeah. Come on, Cash.
You guys stop my Steven's stream.
Yeah,
Come
no,
on.
we were.
Are
on
you
there
okay?
recently,
Yes.
but yeah.
No, you weren't. You were never in my chat. What are you talking about? Don't lie to me.
I was on
Oh,
your panel recently. What are you talking about? Just a few days ago.
No, in his chat, Cash.
In the
Are you-
chat.
I
Come
know.
on, man.
No, I've
Cash
popped
Pop's
by.
bad
I just haven't
typed in it.
Yeah, I haven't typed in it.
You raging lesbian.
And Arwen says, "Don't take that from him, Baron."
Shut up.
Freaking Steven, man, I tell you.
Hey. I even waited an hour and a half before I brought myself in.
He was preparing himself.
He was
Don't worry,
preparing
Arwen.
himself for.
I've dealt with him enough. I know how it works.
He's gonna.
But
turn into
but
a-
Thanks for being on my
everybody,
side. Thanks for being on my side, though.
everybody, thank
Which
you for
side?
tuning into tonight's live stream. Really appreciate it. Have yourselves a great rest of your Wednesday
And
night,
Merry
and
Christmas.
and
One shall
I hope to see you all tomorrow.
Yes,
Take care.
happy Easter, everybody. We'll see you on the great
Autobots, transform and roll out.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Biden. Of course, catch B1 on Tubi, folks. Don't sell yourself short. Go and watch it. Tubi, free.